possibly picking his captains due to Romero being able to communicate with, a third of the club, and then Madison being able to communicate with another third, and therefore then Sonny just kind of being that, cult figure that kind of has to wear the armband by default. So
Yeah.
Right. So is that everyone caught up? So we've got since you lot started going on there, we have some more people. So Nigel Pure Coys is here. Says big up you beautiful lot and chat, of course. Much love. I hope you are well, Nigel. The sheriff has put in Leo's channel there. So people go and subscribe to the Mile High Hotspur. So not only are there members here, but they've got their own channels as well. And yeah, please go and support them because it's absolutely brilliant content over there. You have Vindaloo says, to there is to do. I get that bit, but on a serious note, do you have your Tottenham back, or is it what Alan said? This is who we are, mate. Very confusing, and you are very confusing as well, Vindaloo. I keep saying it all the time. I never ever see you on any of these Arsenal channels. I just see you on Tottenham channels.
He's a secret kid. Old Vindaloo.
Confusing, isn't it?
He just likes the Arsenal badge.
Destiny 5 says, afternoon, ladies. The sheriff has put in Johnny's channel. So Johnny Bethnal Green. So let's go over and support Johnny, who's beneath Adrian in this panel at the moment today. Please go over and support him. He's trying to, well, his next milestone is 50, but I'm sure he's looking at his next milestone as being 100. So let's go and support him as soon as we can.
I want 6 million. I want to earn some money. Yeah, Jose.
6 million, he says. Of course, we'd all like to have 6 million, I think. And then you've got David Clark says, I watched this morning a discussion with Graham Souness, with an ex-Watford striker and then the ex-Crystal Palace chairman, talking football. And Souness summed it up saying, you are your own captain. End of.
Yes.
Benito Sotelo has just come and gifted 5 memberships over at Tel Cockerel. Thank you very much. That's most kind of you. And they have gone to Milton Nebrega, Ronnie, Eugene, Angeball, and Bigby Wolf. So if any of you guys received these, can you come in and the person you need to thank for this is Benito Sotelo.
Padres fan, possibly.
Sorry?
That's his little badge is SD. It looks like the San Diego Padres badge.
yeah, commiserations, my homie, commiserations. They just got beat last night by the Dodgers. Yeah.
There we go. Look at these. Today we've got an North American flavor on our panel today. So yeah, so they're going to know all about this. We're going to be taught because we know nothing about the San Diego Padres and the Chargers and the Dodgers and everyone else that plays. Is it baseball you're talking about? Baseball.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah. It was just in the playoffs. They made it to the playoffs and got eliminated against probably, I don't know if the Dodgers are their biggest rivals, but they're like, in-state rivals for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you've got Mark's the Spurs diehards. So if you're over here on Tel Cockerel and you've not subscribed over to Spurs diehards, then please do so. You've got Colin Baxter says afternoon, Jose and panel. Kate, it's the new channel name. No more just a girl. This is more generic. Nick saying, I've been saying for a while now that having no single perfect option, we have taken several people that have the right attributes and made them all part of the captaincy group. Let me have a look. So what else we got here? Same thing. The best captain in the world will not stop these individual absolute cock-ups from happening. You go out on that pitch and make sure that you run more and play better than your opposite number for a win. Kate is another mod and member, but she's putting her new channel on there, the new channel name, which is the Perfect Match KJ. So please, if you haven't done so already, please go and support Kate.
Kate and Jimbo.
Yes, and can someone, Mark, can you put in Nigel Pure Coy's channel as well, please?
I certainly can.
Thank you. Vindaloo says, hey, I go on the Terrace, 12th Man, and Hussam and Mo channels. Never on AFTV. Too much bigger fish to fry for me. There's a lot more Arsenal channels than just AFTV, and you don't appear to go on any of them. Ronnie says, hello, Jose and all. Good afternoon, Ronnie. You were gifted a membership by Benito Sotelo is the person that you need to thank. Benito Sotelo is now saying, look, says, yeah, I'm in meltdown. So from what you guys were saying, he says he's in meltdown. Nigel Purecoy says, get subbing to all the guys, got to support all the Spurs channels. Maybe a gooner, but Vindaloo is one of my favourite chatters. Not disagreeing. He makes me laugh. He comes here and he makes me laugh. So superb. Big up to the panel from Benito. Thank you very much, sir. Ronnie did say thank you. David Clark's now saying, wherever you are in America, the Washington Commanders are coming for you. he has got the Washington Commanders. And there you've got Nigel Purecoys as well. So Nigel Purecoys channel there. So please support Nigel Purecoys as well. As Nigel said earlier, support all channels. Everyone tries their best. Support all channels. And Kate, 2-member chat saying, Coys. Right, I've got a question for you guys. Right. Because Alan started off kicking off with the Sun thing, right? This got me thinking, right? Do people from different parts of the world support teams differently because the mentality is totally different? So where I'm saying that, I'm saying you've got, and I'm not going to be, don't want to sound horrible here, but we live on a little island, right? And if I could refer us, right, to an animal, right, I'm going to refer us to a dog. I feel that people here in England, including myself, we're like a Chihuahua acting like a Rottweiler. Does that make sense? That's what we're a small island nation, and the way that we support, the way that we support, and the way that we, go on about things in the majority. We act differently to supporters and mentalities from Australia and also from the North Americans.
And from the Spanish.
And it got me thinking that people are all different because what we see as sports people, what we see about sports here in this country is totally different to the way the Americans see their sports and the Aussies see their sports. Does anyone think like that as well, or do you think I'm way off the mark by thinking that?
I think you're spot on. I think because here we're more steeped in the footballing tradition and history of the club, depending how young you are when you first supported the club. If you supported the club when Sky was worldwide and people could see football worldwide and then decide what teams they want to support, a lot of the Africans and people in the subcontinent, probably America and all that, they'll support more than one team. They'll support Real Madrid and they'll support Man City, and they'll support Bayern Munich, won't they? Whereas we're not. We're more like single-minded because we've been brought up that way. You support one club, not two. You might have a soft spot for a second club, like Quicksand or something like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, like we are. I mean, like, but since the game's televised worldwide and everyone's bought Sky, it's different. I'm not saying with those though they're any less passionate. Just because I live a mile and a half from the ground and I can afford to go at the ground, I'll never demean other supporters and think like you're less passionate than me. I've just been supporting the club longer, and I've experienced Spurs winning 14 trophies. That's probably upset all the chat now straight away, But I mean, it's different, isn't it? So no, there is a difference. I mean, there's also a difference in the perspective. I go at the game we lose to Arsenal. I'm fuming for a week. You watching it on telly, you probably calm down after a couple of days, right? Being there when you lose is worse, in my opinion. But I don't know. Maybe it's not for some out there. Maybe some out there, like, they're fuming at the end of the week. I was still fuming after the next game we played. I was still pissed off about the Arsenal game. You know what I mean? So try not to show it and keep calm, though,
So can I just say, Nick, you're a... Right, so sorry, Mark, can you put in Nick's channel?
What's his channel called?
Roundtable Talk.
Roundtable Talk. Great. Yeah. It's a great little channel. He just does his little backyard chats, and it's like a bit back. It's like personal growth and mental health, as he says. It's like really, really good to watch.
There you go. So if you can put in Roundtable Talk as well.
I will do it.
Thank you very much. You've got Barney I don't know whether you're watching on Mile High or Spurs TTID, but he says no subtext why and hello from Perth, Western Australia. I'm not sure what the no subtext means. Does that mean? I don't know, because it's a members show, so I'm not sure what you mean. So if you let me know what you mean, I'll be able to answer you. Daniel Coys is here saying big up to everybody. Big up to you, Daniel, as well.
All right, Danny.
Vindaloo, Jose, you guys have a good team. Good team. You're a few players short for making the team tick, inverting both fullbacks and playing players out of positions is an issue. You could change that zonal marking at corners. David Clark says, another claim to fame was me following the Leicester Panthers American football team. Our quarterback in 1988 was the great Sean Payton, someone who you American fellas would know.
Yeah, he was the coach for the New Orleans Saints when they were.
He's the coach here in Denver right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Behind the windows went crazy as soon as you came in. He would run and hide. Daniel Coyce follows Rangers as well. Roundtable Talk says English fans seem to be very nostalgic. In the US, we have so many sports, pro and college, that we follow.
Yeah.
Ronnie says, I don't understand a soft spot for any other teams. I'm 100% Tottenham Hotspur, and that's it. Chris Agenbar, good afternoon, good evening. Chris, I hope you are well, sir. Barmy says, text for the deaf. I haven't got it on text.
Oh, is he talking about like captions?
Yeah. How do I get captions on for him?
Captions, maybe.
Yeah, you have to do it. You'd probably have to do it at the start of the show, I would have thought.
I think he would have to do it from his own settings.
If he's watching it on YouTube,
yeah.
If you're
he
watching
should be able to do it through his settings.
Oh Christ, what have I done?
Yeah, Barmy, if you're watching it on YouTube, I don't have to type it in for him. Sorry.
Jose, I'll kind of chime in while you do that and kind of put my own take on the, having not necessarily two clubs, but as you guys can see, I recently have become, a huge Colorado Rapids fan, and that's because I've chosen to support my home team club. Now, you guys may know Tottenham for me has been like my one and only the whole time that I've known you guys. And going to the Enfield Town FC ground and going to the Enfield Town FC match with some of my friends out there in London made me fall more in love with my hometown club, because I knew it was something that I can experience with my fellow friends, with my fellow city folk here in Denver. And look, I'm not saying that it's anywhere near my love for Tottenham Hotspur, but the Colorado Rapids has definitely become a big part of my life. And I never thought it would be possible to share any type of, I have a baseball cap on, but I don't watch much sport besides football. And I never would have thought I'd given another team a chance. But now that I do follow both teams, I don't think that, it takes anything away from, liking one team more than the other. If anything, it's helped me just fall in love more with Tottenham Hotspur and the Rapids, both in one, because now I have a different avenue to release some of my stress. For example, if for example, we just lost on the weekend against Brighton, and I still focused my attention to the Colorado Rapids because we have a playoff game coming up, and I'm able to kind of just shift gears for a little bit. So for me, and another thing too, I've always kind of put on my shoulders and said, you know what, I have a massive love for Tottenham Hotspur because I'm not even from the area, but yet I bleed the lily white, right? And I will go to bat for the lily white whenever I'm called upon to do so. So that also, and even in some of my videos, I get so much love from people all across the world saying, wow, I had no idea there's even supporter sections in the United States. My wall is full of different supporters clubs that bleed love for Tottenham Hotspur. And I can guarantee you most of the people that I come in contact with here in Denver may never may never make it to London to watch a game, yet they're faithfully at the pub every weekend watching their team, cheering their team. They learn the songs so that they can be a part of it. And that's all it is. Whether you're 1,000 miles away or whether you're like my homie Adrian that lives right next to the ground, if you want, it's not impossible for you to be in that number when the Spurs go marching in. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on.
Yes.
Well said.
Come on!
Can I say, Leo?
Yeah.
Can I say, Leo, that is the only place to be is in the pub watching the game. My lager sipping homie.
No, I've got no issue with people supporting different, being involved in different sports and all that. I must admit, though, these half and half scarves, they do my head in. When I see some at a North London derby with a Spurs Arsenal half and half scarf, I couldn't help thinking,
right.
I can see no reason why they shouldn't relax the gun licensing laws in this country.
Give them an iron. Give them an
I
iron.
mean, this isn't on, not a Spurs half and half Arsenal scarf. Seriously, unless you wipe your ass with the Arsenal bit, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, it's not on. It's not on. I mean, like, they're dumbing down people. I think there's lots going on. You know, I mean, we know advertising is social engineering, but I think they're really dumbing down the population, sports everywhere, just to be passive. You know.
Can I say, in this country, especially, you're going to be more likely to just follow your local team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if your local team's, like, obviously not in the same league as, like, Tottenham, because we're all Tottenham fans. And my local team are in whatever the conference is called these days. And so I don't never go to watch them, but I follow their results. And that's as far as I go. You know, and that's what it's like in this country, you know.
Well,
you know, you're always going to look out for your local team.
Yes and no. TV's changed a lot of that. That's why when I was in the 70s, you had a lot of kids supporting Liverpool because the young kids then had access to TV. They want to support the winning team. This is why Real Madrid and Barcelona have got such a big worldwide support. Man United, Liverpool, hate to say it, but they've got the European pedigree in this country, haven't they, over all other teams? So you've got that, haven't you? I mean, and like yourself, because they dropped you off in the middle of nowhere, Mark. The Dorset Spurs come up from every game, don't they? So like, and all the other supporters clubs that come from all over the country, just Spurs. So
does Somerset. I've told you
every supporters clubs or more throughout the planet, or more.
Every home game, there's a coach that leaves from Taunton to take like 50 of them to the lane and back. It's like a 10-hour day. Well, it's more than that. It's like a 16, 18-hour day for me if I want to go.
You have Ryman's son says big up Leo, and then says he is also a Chicago Spurs fan.
Yeah, big up, mate.
Big up to you, Ryman's son. Thank you for being here. Right, when Nick's camera comes on, I'll bring him in. Then you've got Nigel LeoCoys says, yes, love the passion, chaps. I think the passion he was talking about was when you were giving us your rallying war cry, Leo. I've got a question for everyone as well that I've starred, which is from Graham. But Daniel Coy says, big up, Nick, mate. Yeah, mate, my family is all Tottenham. They lived there till the 70s. I'm the only one in my family who's not born in London. You've got Paul G says, afternoon, gents. If Carlsberg made football panels, David Clark says, Washington fans asked me why I started following them. My answer was, went on the drink Saturday night. Sunday stayed tuned my radio into USA Armed Forces, Europe, and the first name was Washington. Right,
David, why don't you come on shows? I've never seen David Clark on a show. He's very knowledgeable.
I was a Mark Rippon fan back in the day.
So anybody,
I read all this American sports.
Anybody who's a member, you're more than welcome to come on. Good morning. Good morning, Nick. How are you, sir?
Morning. I'm having a bit of technical difficulty here. Sorry,
it's all right.
My mic's not working, so and my voice is still a little bit messed up from all the allergies I've had lately. So apologies ahead of time. But I just couldn't. I mean, I love this conversation. I just kind of I appreciate. I'm covering up half the. I appreciate how fans' loyalty is ingrained in them a lot of times from birth, like from family.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. That's a very cool thing. And all those of you that are fortunate enough, as Leo said, like Adrian, that lives so close to such a beautiful, amazing club like Tottenham. I mean, it would cost me to go to one game, and Leo could probably vouch for this. It would cost me about what it would for a season ticket for y'all to go, just for the plane ticket and back and forth and all that. And if I would, there's 5 of us, so if I was going to take my entire crew, oh Lord! But man, I would gladly do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I mean,
Yep.
I have I have loyalties to my relatively local Kansas City club, but other than that, I mean, I've kind of followed Barca because I'm a Ronaldinho fan from way back. But other than that, I'm fully Coys and have been since my roommates, early 2000s in just out of college. So, and we only fairly recently have been able to get all of the matches live, and I gladly pull my butt out of bed at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., to watch this beautiful club uh, win, lose, draw. I don't care. I mean, I'm I'm there every time, and my passion for the club is is because of the identity that the club has had for so long, and I hope long may it continue.
Well, you got good taste, Nick, to apart from supporting Spurs, to support the Barcelona side that had Ronaldinho and Rivaldo in it. That was a fantastic team. That was one hell of a team. One of the best
Thanks,
Barca, not the best Barca team I've ever seen.
That's the thing that is the thing that gets me is that all you guys the other side of the pond and all the guys in Australia that got to get up at 3 in the morning. It might be late at night. Well, it's never late at night for you the other side of the pond, but people in Australia could be any time. Could be any time when it's like middle of the night. But for you, I know it's very early in the morning sometimes, especially if we got 12:30 kickoff. That's it's 7:30 for like New York side, isn't it? Because they're 5 hours behind.
Yeah, it's like 4:30 here.
That's a 5:30 a.m. game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so my hat goes off to you because there's no way I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
Sheriff, let me just go ahead and tell you, bro, at 5:30 in the morning, those are typically like a Liverpool or Newcastle game. We're here at the pub drinking lagers, man. Don't worry about it. Like we're definitely getting them in that early in the morning.
So we've basically got Leo's part of the States is basically pisshead country.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I must visit. I must visit immediately, Leo.
The sheriff,
Yeah.
the sheriff,
Doors always open.
the sheriff would fit hand to glove. So basically, a question I asked, and most of you guys are answering it already. That supporters come from all throughout the world, but people's mentality and the way they think seems to be it changes. Not only it changes through nationality, and it changes through sports and the mentality and where you were brought up. Because we haven't got no Australians on here at the moment, but the Australians are fiercely competitive, and the Australians want to be number one at absolutely everything, and they put a lot of money into their sports, regardless of what sport it is. The government over there put a lot of money into sports. So at the end of the day, for them, they want to be world champions at absolutely everything they do. I mean, that's not to say that the Americans don't, because the Americans put a hell of a lot of money into track and field and stuff like that. But then your basketball teams, your baseball teams, your American football, it goes on. Lacrosse, it goes on and on. The amount of money that Americans plummet into it, and the way that you're taught in your high schools for sports and that, and then you go on after your high schools, you can go on and you get the scholarships to continue with your sports and that, and they do similar in Australia as well. Here in England, we don't do scholarships per se as what you have in America and Australia, and that's where I'm thinking that that when it comes to the sports side of it, that's where I think other countries do look differently compared to what we look.
I like the way they're all in as well, Jose. What really gets when you see the Koreans or the Canadians or the Australians or the Canadians, they're singing all the Spurs songs and they're giving it Yid Army and all that. Like, I think that's fantastic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they sing the songs as passionately. Like,
they've got more passion. They've got more passion than some other YouTube channels, haven't they? Really.
So I was going to say, what Johnny, you've been just nodding away. What do you think, mate? Do you think there's any validity in that people are all different and that, and take sports differently and support differently? And
I've got the Latin blood. I'm just passionate about football. It's my religion. You know, I love Spurs because I come from a family of Spurs supporters. But then my dad is a passionate Real Madrid fan. But I don't support Real Madrid. I support Atletico Bilbao. So
it's also a cheap sport, Johnny, isn't it? I mean, all you need is a pair of trainers and a football. That's all you need.
Yeah,
it's not expensive. You haven't got to buy all the American helmets and stuff for American football or other stuff you've got to get. I mean, some of them sports, I don't know about basketball. It's probably not an expensive sport. You get like a vest, basically, don't you? But I mean, like shorts, but football's a cheap sport for American families to bring their kids up on. Like, they haven't got to spend hundreds of dollars on gear and stuff like that, you know?
I'm not sure if you were the same, Adrian. When I was a kid, we used to kick a Coke can about.
Yeah.
If we never had a football. Yeah, tennis ball, Coke can, anything.
Yeah.
So Academy's here.
An Arsenal fan about for a little while.
Sorry, Nick, gone.
Academies here are different, a lot different. So both of my sons are in an academy here, and they both play for their age group, U10 and U11. They basically, we have to pay the club a good bit of money. I mean, it's our just to give you an idea, our kits. Our home and away for both of my boys cost me about $600. And that's one season. And then there's also club fees, club dues or whatever are anywhere between $50 and $100 a month. And then on top of that, you have tournament fees, which are usually per family around $60 or $80. And then on top of that, I live kind of in the I live about 3 hours from Kansas City, which is where we play most of our games. We play most of them at the Sporting KC Park against their youth teams, which we've been dominating lately. But it's I mean, you're looking at hotel, you're looking at all the travel costs, because I mean, I live in an area of about 500,000 people, and we don't have until next year we won't have an actual pro team here. We're getting one, and it's Ozark FC, Ozark United FC. I was not happy they put that in there, but that'll be fun to kind of keep up with, and that, I can take my boys relatively cheaply at that point, because I mean, it's one exit on the freeway from my house. I'll be able to take them to a pro game pretty much weekly, as opposed to once a month or so, whenever I'm able to sneak up to Kansas City, able to scrape back some money. But academies are the only way that you can actually progress in the sport. Like, you can play in like a local recreational league, and they just play kickball. They don't really, I mean, they don't learn techniques. They don't have the individual training and whatnot that the academies do here. But they're, again, like I said, it's a lot more expensive. But my boys took off with it and have both gotten tremendously good. In fact, they've both been other clubs have been trying to steal them from the club where we are, and even like offering quote unquote scholarships, like, hey, well, we'll take off X amount per month, but it's still expensive.
Can either of them play left wing? Can either of them play left wing? Because if they do, can
Yes,
they come
sir.
to London?
Send them over.
Can they come
yes,
to
sir.
London for next week, whenever it is?
My oldest is well, he's 2-footed, like crazy 2-footed, and has really good speed and handles, and he can play any of the front, in any of the forward positions. They typically put him at like attacking midfield, like a straight up 10.
He sounds better than Werner. Just send him over.
Yeah, well, but he's only, he's not even 5 foot tall. He's just a little guy, but I mean, he's only 10, so but yeah, he's I mean, I brag about both of them. My other one is a really, really good goalkeeper. Like they've chosen him and like 2 other kids from this club to go to a national goalkeeper thing, and he's only like he's only a year and a half into it, and I mean, he's at the academy club level, he's keeping clean sheets consistently to the point to where he's good on the field as well, but his coach wants to keep him in goal because they win games that way. I'm like, okay, but he's got to learn. I don't know. So it's fun. I'm at this point, because my knees and my 45-year-old body keeps failing me. I'm living vicariously through them.
That's always the way. That's always
It's
the way.
Yeah, they're good kids though. Oh,
I'm not sure they charge the kids at amateur level football in the UK. I mean,
Well, you've got to pay to play in this country, Adrian.
Sorry,
I've just seen.
You've got to pay to play in this country. I put my daughter in a football team, and
right, it's all changed then since
You
I
pay sub. I don't. We pay. You pay subs, but I didn't realise that we don't pay for kits and
No,
stuff.
my club, we used to pay. Obviously, we paid for the pitch. You paid for the referees and stuff like that.
Subs, out of subs you paid for.
Yeah,
that,
but
you?
it wasn't like what Nick's having to pay for.
Yeah, what Nick's described is. Yeah, I've not seen that here in this country.
I think if you move up a sort of a level between amateur and in semi-pro, then maybe you do have to pay.
You seen? Are you saying you've seen something different, Johnny?
no, I was just saying you got to like I put my daughter in a football team, and it was like you got to pay for every little bit of the football team. It's like you're paying £3 sub, then you're paying for the game, then you're paying for them to have a party afterwards, then you're paying for the football kit. And you think to yourself, well, I never had any of that when I was at school. I got my
any beer at the party, Mark will go.
You know, we didn't even have a party.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people here in the United States end up not even going further in their sporting career because of the fact that they have these stumbling blocks here. Most famously said by Zlatan Ibrahimovic when he was over here playing for the Galaxy, he said it was ridiculous he had to pay thousands of dollars for his kids to play in the academies, when back home, you know, these kids are getting this type of privileges for free. And Daniel Coys, you know, has a good comment there, right? It's going. How is this supposed to give an incentive to the kids, to the families, you know, to try and a lot of kids go unseen because their dad or their mom can't come up with that fee, or let's just say they have the fee but they don't have the way of getting them, like Nick just said, to the other side of town. And so it's definitely something that sports, because Jose, you also touched on this, you know, it's all part of schooling, where you go into college and then from college you go into a professional sporting system. That's the way it's here. And, you know, whether that's good or not, it keeps kids with an incentive to stay into school maybe, and to maybe try and go into college, because they offer tons of scholarships, right? Which will then give you, depending on the scholarship, you know, you may or may not have to pay at all. But guys, in order to get a scholarship too, you have to stand out way more than the rest of them. And you're still having to stand out in these pay as you play leagues, which in my opinion is unfair. It's unfair because I'm not taking anything away from the rich kid that has everything that he wants and is able to play, but there's definitely a fire underneath of the poor kid that's eating beans and rice every day, whose mom's at work, you know, 18 out of the freaking 24 hours just to make a living. And
Yeah.
I know because I was one of those kids, my homies. I was really, really, really good at playing hockey, and I had opportunities to go to college. But in order for me to get to college, I didn't have the money to progress in my hockey career. So that's why I quit playing hockey, right? Because I could have been something playing hockey, and I'm not trying to brag. I could have been. I was one of the best kids playing hockey, but
That's sort of
unfortunately,
wrong,
I
isn't
grew up.
it? Well,
Yeah, it's wrong
that's
because
It's
wrong, isn't it?
backwards.
I mean, if you've got a talent, that to be honest, that's. I mean, a lot of the kids that go to college and university in this country, like by the time they leave, they're thousands of pounds in debt.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's
Here we
wrong.
have for college sports we have it's called NIL. It's name, image, and likeness, and you can profit off of your name, image, and likeness because the schools here. So, for instance, I live really close to the University of Arkansas, which has an 85,000 seat stadium for football and or for American football. We don't even have a men's soccer or men's football team here. We have a women's. That's another whole subject altogether why we don't have that, but they regularly make in the hundreds of millions of dollars a year from their sports program, and this is on the amateur, quote unquote amateur level. But so the student athletes sued, even though they were getting full tuition and room and board and everything paid for. They sued the NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association. They sued them in order to be able to use their own image and or likeness and their name uh, to make extra money while they're in college, because this stat came out in a meeting at the club the other day. 1%, the top 1% of our club will make it to a higher level, and then the top 1% from there will go to the college level, and then the top 1% from there will be recruited for the national team. This is why our national team sucks, y'all. This is why we have a nation of 650 million people, and the biggest sport in the world we are subpar at. And this is my opinion, and in my soapbox I apologize, but that's what's hurting us, and like, we're hosting the Olympics coming up, so there's going to be a boost immediately after that within America, within football in America. And I just hope that they start to realize and start to look at some of the other countries like the UK, or England, whichever you prefer. I mean, I hope they start to look at the systems there and just in Europe in general, and see that, hey, you can get recruited and go play for an academy. They pay for your school, they pay for this, that, da, 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 everything, and then on top of that you have the opportunity to advance to the next level, or you have the opportunity to, they send you to become a ref or a coach or whatever. Like the refs here in our league, and I'm sorry I'm long-winded. The refs here in our league are typically teenagers that are learning to be a ref, and they're learning it at the same time that the kids are learning, which is kind of cool. They have a referee assistant who's licensed UA, or not UEFA, obviously not UEFA, but who's some sort of nationally or worldwide licensed. And we even have some of those at the club, but like, it's the whole system is just so weird. It's so, like, we're so far behind and so doing everything so backwards. I just hope by the time my kids are oh a good bit older that things will change, because my oldest all the time tells me, "Dad, I want to be a professional footballer. Dad, I want to be." I'm like, "You got to put in the work, bub. You got, especially here." And I'm lucky that I can afford to send them that. I couldn't afford that when I was a kid. We were super poor, but like, I'm lucky that I can afford to send them both and keep them in, contention, at least for, you know, maybe getting a scholarship to college. If nothing else, they get their university paid for. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Right,
Football
so
evolved differently in this country, though. It evolved totally differently. I mean, and the culture that was inherited by following generations. It was the same. It wasn't sort of like with America and new things. You're coming in at a different age. You're starting off in football at a different age, where like it is
it
more
was born there, right?
regulated, like, and it's more like, oh well, this has got to pay for itself. If you went back, I mean, I could do a historical perspective about Spurs. I will do one in the future. But if you go back to the 1900s, right, get back to 1900 when football was in its infancy, and in Europe it was even further behind us then. I mean, you just had 2 square goalposts in the ground. There were no nets, no crossbars, arguments over a goal, whether the ball was too high when it went through between the posts and things like that. The pitches weren't the scientific products they are now. After half a dozen games, I mean, Johnny will remember and all that, and Mark will remember, even in the 70s, with Spurs were playing, these pitches cut up. You watch Hoddle on some of the pitches. You watch the floodlights where the shadows off the players. You don't get none of that now. You know what I mean? That's why Nicholson got Spurs to play on an all-white strip.
See, I grew up in a fortunate era because I've only grown up whilst it's been pampered pitches, because Adrian never mentioned me.
But
so
you're still getting kicked, Jose. You're still getting kicked. Like,
well, young Jose.
Yeah, I've grown up in a pampered era because Adrian just referred to Mark and to you, Johnny, and not me. So I take that as
well. I didn't want to get kicked from the show, Jose. You know what I mean? So,
let me just say, I've got a question to ask you. That someone's put in. Let me just say, Spurs analyst, big up to everyone. This is well old. I hope you're well, sir. And then what we got? Who else was in here? You've got loads of people. They're all talking to each other. Let me just see.
Go for
Peter Kagaya says my boys used to cost me $1,500 a year in the 90s. Paul G says, "Wow, you got people. They're all talking to each other." Benito says academies definitely need to incentivize talent over profit. Too much staunch backwards thinking over here. Daniel Coy, sorry, yeah, but you don't pay if you get into a club's academy, though. I was at Peterborough Academy until I was 12. Coaching badges is the worst thing FIFA ever done. It brings in people who've never played. Mikey Romero, I thought you was coming on, Mikey. The link is in the community section. If you go to the community section, members can only, it's only members that will be able to read it, so you'll be able to see it. Mikey says, I'm 29, still playing to play in the tri-state area. Lord Rodney Trotter, hello, mate. I hope you're well. It's not supposed to help them. It's meant to weed out the poor. Let me just see if there's any more people down here. Peter says, I remember when my son was junior, we had this great little kid who was from a single parent. After the first year, she couldn't afford the fees, so did a fundraiser, and it was a dance night, and we raised 1,500.
Oh wow!
For him.
15,000.
15,000. Sorry, yeah, 15,000.
That's great.
Rodney Trotter says it's a rich man's sport now. Peter guys continues. It was a great night. $50 a head. People donated all foods in. I auctioned a canary in a cage, and we got $800. It would only cost you $50 normally. Right. So the question that we've got for you guys, I've put myself down the bottom. You see all the North Americans at the top, and Johnny, you're sandwiched between TTID, and I've just left myself at the bottom. And I've done that because if I put any of the chat up, then it will blind me, and it won't blind yourselves because you guys are the members. But the question was asked earlier by Spurs GCTV, and we'll start with Alan, and then we'll work our way around. If you guys were a dog supporting Spurs, which would you be?
If I was a dog supporting Spurs, what dog would I be?
Yeah,
a loyal lab.
Maybe a bulldog.
Yeah, bulldog.
You just stole all our answers in the middle row.
So you're a bulldog, Leo.
Yeah. Look, man, this is probably gonna sound weird, especially coming from the homie, right? I would probably be a Maltese poodle. That's because I have a Maltese poodle that I love. And look, guys, when I get home from a long day of work, the first one to greet me at the door with her tail wagging is the Maltese poodle. And So, that loyalty there is there, especially, after a long day. And what Spurs does to us, definitely, we have to be loyal dogs in order to be a fan of Spurs. And of course, man, my little dog is just full of life, and I feel like I resonate the same. So I would like to be, of course, I wanted to say the pit bull, the big Rottweilers, but I'll keep it modest and say the Maltese poodle, all white Maltese poodle.
White multi-poo.
Nick,
Lily
same
white
to
Lily
you,
White,
Maltese
mate.
Lily White.
Lily
Lily
white
white.
Maltese
White, yes.
And the same to you, Nick.
I'd have to say a Labrador Retriever, um, just because they're super loyal, and but I mean that's mostly also, to Leo's point, that's mostly what I have too. I have two Labradoodles, um, but before that I had a string of labs, and they all like they're always happy to see me, and it's all about, I don't even have to have a leash on them. They're just right by my side the whole time, just, loyal. um because I mean, I yeah, I get crap all the time whenever I wear my Tottenham gear out. It's always the Arsenal fans, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, we're in the US, y'all. It's okay. But I guess, they're trying to be loyal. I don't know. Whatever Arsenal fans can do.
Time to dress up our dogs, I think, in Tottenham shirts. Mark, same to you, mate.
Oh my God. Well, if I was a dog, I'd have probably been put down by now. To be honest. Yeah, it's got to be a loyal one because, like, we've all been Spurs fans for many years. I'd be that snappy little terrier thing that you just like,
Yorkshire.
No, I'm nowhere near there. Yorkshire's
Scott-
the other end of the country from me.
No,
but
Yorkshire
what-
Terrier.
a Yorkshire
Yorkie.
Terrier.
Yeah, the Yorkshire. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Or Scottish Terrier.
What's one of them little Jack Russell? Jack Russell's
Russell's
a little-
different. Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah. I know, but Jack Russell because it's one of them little ratty dogs, isn't it?
They're smart.
What about you, Johnny? What would you be, mate?
I think I'd go for my American Bulldog. Stay loyal to my dog.
Adrian?
I'm going to go for the most loyalist dog going. I'm going for an alpha male timber wolf called Captain.
Yeah. What do they say? Do they say dogs are their owners, or owners are their dogs?
I think that could go either way.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there is a saying. So basically, like some of you already have said, you've got dogs, and so you'd like, because you've got dogs, you're loyal to the dogs that you've got.
There we are.
Right? There he is.
lovely.
Look at that. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
So I'm going to have to say German Shepherd because I've got German Shepherds. So I'm going to have to say German Shepherd. So hopefully, Graham, that answers your question because it's the only question that we had, but I thought I'd better answer it. We better answer it because Graham is a member and has asked the question. Paul G saying Jack Russell, and he says it's brilliant from you, the sheriff. David Clark says I have an Lhasa Apso cross with a Yorkshire Terrier. Being a cross is more than Werner can do. Lol. Lord Rodney Trotter says it'd be a French bulldog for him. And Paul G says he might. It's true that they say dogs are a gentleman's best friend because if you die, it would starve to death, whereas a cat would eat you. Exactly correct, because I've seen this happen in Spain. Because I live in villages and that in remote parts of Spain, and when someone's passed away and they've got cats, the cats have eaten out their hands, so that they've eaten through the flesh to the bone. Where a dog won't. A dog will just sit there and won't leave your side. So it's true. This is where the saying comes from. So, and then you've got someone who I've not met before. John Lee has come in and he says, "Sonny is royal to our club. We need a trophy for Sonny." What I'm going to ask, I'm going to spin that a little bit. and I'm going to ask the question, and I'll start with you, Adrian, and then work our way round back roundwards. Right? We need to win a trophy this year, Adrian. Do we not?
Yeah, we do. And what I want more than anything else is this Europa League. I've seen us win 2, and I want this Europa League. And I think it is the best chance because we've got this 8-game run. We've won 2, 6 to go, and you're in the second half of the competition in January. 5 games might do it. I'm not sure how the league format will work in the other leagues, so we can't just say 5 games in our group because we need to see how the other leagues are going as well. It will be the top 8 teams. I don't know if by a quirk it can work out funny if you finish second in one of the other groups, you don't get through. I don't know if there's any funny quirks like that in the rules, right? We
There's
know
only
that,
one league, Adrian.
yeah, it's one league. Yeah. And then
Is he froze?
we all get tabled in the same league, don't we? So it'll be goals for and goals different and all that. Yeah. No, you're right. No, I know where you're coming from. Yeah. So I want the Europa League. And I also think because of the coefficient and the way all the English teams have started, I think only one of them's drawn. I think we'll get the 5th spot this year as well, because Germany got it last year, didn't they? Italy got the top spot, didn't they? And I think Germany got the 2nd spot, the extra 5th place for the Champions League. So I think we'll get it. We've got such a strong teams in the European competitions this year. I like being in Europe, isn't it? Bill Nicholson said, "You're nothing if you're not in Europe," and I like being in Europe. So yeah, and we've got some nice fixtures, haven't we, as well? I mean, like that you want to see. I mean, we're going to be playing Rangers away. We've beat them before in the Cup Winners' Cup years ago when we went on to win it, and like we're going to be playing Lazio, but at least we got them. Roma, but at least we got them at home. So no Galatasaray away. Well, it's a intimidating place to go. I don't know what state of their team is. They're usually up there with Fenerbahce, aren't they? Besiktas and teams like that. So I don't fear anyone in this Europa League when I look at the competition. I mean, like we've already spanked Man United, so if you beat them once, you can beat them again. Someone told me I do not watch the Italian league that Roma aren't exactly doing great in that league this season. So I think it's there for the grabs. I mean, I really do. I mean, we won't know about the FA Cup. We haven't got the draw to the 10th and the 11th of January when them ties are played. So, and we've got Man City at home on the 30th, the Wednesday, haven't we? The 30th this month. So, and that'll be interesting because I believe someone said, I haven't sourced it, that I think we might be the 4th of their away games on the spin. So it's interesting because of the fatigue factor. It's not we've got to worry about fatigue. Every team with their squads fighting all fronts has to worry about fatigue. So these games aren't like insurmountable. I mean, if we play, we might be a bit off par on one of these European games, but so will the other teams. You know what I mean? So no, but Europa League for me, that's what I want, and I want top 4.
So. Same question, obviously, is going to you, Johnny.
Yeah, I want the FA Cup, bruv. I want that FA Cup just because I grew up with an FA Cup winning squad. I want that FA Cup and I want that Europe Cup. I want it bad. But I don't know whether we've got the squad to win the FA Cup, but that Europe Cup, I feel like we can have that. I think that's in our pocket.
What changes for you then, Johnny, between the Europa Cup and the FA Cup? Because in the FA Cup you play far less games. You play more games to win a Europa Cup than what you would play the FA Cup. I mean, by the time you finish your league phase of the Europa Cup, that's the amount of games that you win the FA Cup with. I think seven games. Sorry, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th. And then it's quarters, semis.
No, semis. Semis after the 6th round.
Yeah,
is
semis,
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, semis, final. 6 games to win an FA Cup, but it's 8 games just to get out of your group in the Europa. So what makes you think it's easier for Europa than the FA, mate?
I think the FA Cup is more competitive. Sometimes you've got some of these smaller clubs that are they've got so much passion and they just want to get there, that I think that it's just so much more competitive.
Mm.
You know, you got the Europe. They're not as you can see when they play. They're not very competitive, are they? When they play.
Johnny, is not the lure of a Champions League spot if you win the Europa Cup more of a lure for you? Have you considered that, or?
No, I've not even considered that.
Okay.
Not even because I just grew up with that UEFA Cup final that was brilliant. You know, when Tony Park saved the goal.
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
You know, and that for me was just like, come on, you Spurs! I just want that fucking cup.
Oh, when Danny Thomas missed that penalty and the whole stadium went.
Oh,
That was
mate.
what it was being a Spurs fan.
Remember
That was being. They all saying there's only one Danny Thomas. I mean, that was so emotional, right? I mean, like you thought, yeah, and then it sort of grounded. Fuck it. If we blow it, we blow it. You had that sort of attitude then, but then like Parks makes the save.
Oh, Parks
like,
made that
all the
save.
players running over to him, like, and I'm thinking,
I was crying, mate. I nearly broke my windows in fucking Bethnal Green. I was jumping up and down.
It doesn't quite sink in at the time when you win a trophy, even when the ref's blown the whistle. You know what I mean? You just like, but this was penalties anyway. But it's sort of surreal, you know.
Yeah.
But.
And then same question over to you, Mark.
No, hang on, let me go down. You can see the photo behind me.
FA Cup '91.
And you can guess what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So the FA Cup, to be honest, is when I was a kid, it was on all day. It was on for 12 hours. Breakfast with the players.
Yeah.
Traveling to the ground, the game, and then it went on for a couple hours afterwards. It was like 10 hours non-stop footy, and it was the only game that was live. You know, throughout the whole season, unless England was in the World Cup or something, or the Euros. But the FA Cup is something special. The FA Cup is something special. I mean, in every other channel that I'm in the chat and all that, there's been the question, like, a trophy or league position, and I've always put I'd take 17th and a trophy. As long as we don't get relegated, we don't want none of that. But I'd take 17th now and the FA Cup.
Funny.
Good night. Sorry, just saying good night to David Shear because David Shear's going to bed. So good night, David. Thank you for your generosity and thanks for being here, mate.
Buenos noches, old copper.
Can I say I have to thank David Shear because I have a hard time getting my memberships, and honestly, for the majority of my memberships, I have to thank either Peter or David Shear. So before you go off, I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. They do support the community. Them two gentlemen.
It was interesting, Mark, you said about against Nottingham Forest because it was the game shown live. Because actually, the first live TV game that was shown in the UK was Spurs versus Nottingham Forest at White Lane, and we were 1-0 down, but we won 2-1.
Yeah. Well, and I've spoke to you often enough, Adrian, for you to know that what the 91 final means to me.
Yeah.
So the same question, I suppose. I'm going to ask. I'll ask you, Alan. I was going to ask Nick, but go that way. But I'll ask you, Alan. Do we have to win a trophy this year? And what are your thoughts?
Personally, I would love a trophy. Of course, I would love multiple trophies. But if I'm backing Ange has said that he prioritizes sustained growth over immediate. What did he say? Immediate success or a specific position. He's looking for team growth. So I guess what I want to see is team growth. We came in, where were we? 5th last season. I would like to see us come up into a Champions League position if we can. I don't know if it's possible. But I want to see team growth. I really do. I don't know that we have to win for me to feel like we've done well a trophy. It would just be icing on the cake. I just want to see us do better. I think we need to do better. We didn't do very well in Europe last time. I think we're doing okay, but we're sort of skating by, right? We played Coventry, and we played not Coventry. We played Ferenc Varos, and we played who did we play that before then? Where we just kind of Karabag. I think we could play better. And I think that comes down to maybe the choices of who he's including. I think like Radu Dragoshin doesn't get enough time with either VDV or Romero. So I don't know that is as established as it could be. Whereas Romero, VDV are very established. They could be the next Toby and Yan. But
yeah.
But unfortunately, Dragoshin is playing third fiddle, and he doesn't get the time, I think, with either of them to really establish a rapport. So I'd like to see that get better, and I would like to see us just do better as a team overall. We look weak in Europe. We looked weak in the cups. In the Carabao Cup, we looked kind of weak, and I think that's something we need to improve upon. So, if we can just look better, I would say that would be, as long as we grow as a team, that would be success in my mind for this season.
Right. So, Nick, what's your response on that, mate?
Europa. I mean, honestly, any of them. I just want to see some silverware get put back in. I know we're only a year and some change into the new regime, but like it's winnable. I think Carabao is winnable too. FA, they tend to go they tend to go a little harder on the FA. So that one would be a little more difficult, and I think we're too far out for the Prem. So, hey buddy, hey Robbo, or no, it's Phil. Oh, it's Phil. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I think Europa. I mean, I'd love to see that, and that would be, to me, as an American, I guess the Europa is bigger than the domestic cups, but there again, I have a different perspective from it, I think, but that's where I'm at.
Leo, do we have to win a trophy this year?
Do we have to? No. I mean, if I'm giving you the God honest truth, no, it's not. No team is obligated to win a trophy any year. However, I do want to give in my 2 cents. I feel like I would prefer to put our eggs probably into the Europa League basket, just because it's very tough to go up against these lower division teams in England. Any given FA Cup game, these lower league teams are majorly up for it, and they thrive off of, an upset. Now, I'm not saying a European night for a Ferencváros or a Karabag wouldn't have been a huge accomplishment to beat us. I'm not taking anything away from them. However, being as I watch more of the English football, I just know what it means for these lower league teams to win the FA Cup. So it's probably going to be a harder fight, in my opinion. However, the Europa League, we do face, and I say this respectfully, we do face a bit of a lower quality, right, in Karabag, and we have another team at the end of. I was just looking at them. Elfsberg. I don't know exactly where they're from, so I would say they're probably not the most formidable of opponents. But I would say if I'm going to face them, or even like a Wrexham, I'd probably be more afraid of facing Wrexham in a fifth round FA Cup draw, right? So give me the European glory. For me, there's nothing like a European night. The floodlights on. Here the games are a little bit later because it is a late night. So it just adds a little bit more to the mystique of the European games. And I just feel like if you have the chance to do a European trophy or you have the chance to do a domestic trophy, let's get one up on the Gooners and try and go for a European trophy.
Good afternoon, Phil, sir. How are you?
Phil on me.
Big up. How you go? How's it going, gentlemen?
Why aren't you playing bingo?
Yeah, it's all finished with now, mate.
I'm rubbish at that.
I've literally just finished my predictions from Jose's. There's about 18 to 20 predictions, wasn't there?
But it's all finished. The games are all finished now.
Yeah. No, I was talking about how long it took for the predictions.
Oh yeah. It was good. I'm putting the results in as we speak now, and I'll tell you what, there's been some strange results this weekend. That's all I'm going to say. But
I haven't even looked yet, mate.
What's your take? So, Alan, you got to run.
Yes, I got to run. I got a famished family, and I got to make breakfast.
Alan, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Thank you for having me.
And thank
Great
you
to
for your
see
help
everybody.
yesterday. And thanks for your help yesterday.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
And
Good to see you, Alan.
I hope you have a lovely weekend with your family, mate.
Thank you.
And I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you very much, Alan.
Sounds good. Take care, everybody.
Take care, Alan. See you later. Yeah, sorry, Phil. The question was, do we need to win a trophy this season?
Do we need to? It'd be nice. 20 odd years of not having a trophy is getting a bit frustrating now. I think the most realistic way of getting into the Champions League next season is to win the Europa. For me, it's going to be more difficult to get into them Champions League places in the league over a 38 game season than it is to win the Europa League. So I think we should make that our priority, to be honest with you. I don't know if the club are going to do that. I think Levy obviously wants to get as high as high up in the table as possible, and Hans does as well. But I just think the most realistic trophy we can win this season is the Europa League. I'll take any, but that's the one for me. I would take.
So Adrian says something interesting, because Adrian's already talking about coefficiency points, and he's quite right. The way the English clubs have started this season off in the European games means that at the moment, if you were to freeze everything right now, I would have said, not that I've looked at it, but if you froze everything right now, I would have said that England are probably top of the coefficient points this season. Chelsea have won their game in the conference.
Yeah.
We've got Tottenham have won both their games in the Europa. Man United I don't know what Man United have done, but
they drew one. They drew one.
Oh, they've drawn both, Man United. I think they've drawn both, so they've got 2 draws there. So you get points for draws as well. But then when you look at Man City have won one, drawn one. Liverpool have won both. Arsenal have won both.
Villa beat Bayern Munich,
and Villa have won both as well.
We don't really want to rely on that, though, do we? As a club, we don't really want.
No, we don't. But it's interesting that this year, last year they were saying up to 5th, but this year, if you froze everything right now after 2 games, then 5th place is England's at the moment. So you got 2 places you get in Europe, right? And England are in first spot, not second. They're in first. So and that's the way they stand at the moment.
And you only have to finish in the second coefficient spot, because I think Italy automatically qualified last year, didn't they? They were top. So I think
Germany got the second place.
Germany got the second. So Yeah, I think we're gonna. I think it's a given. There's
But-
gonna be a fifth space up. I
But
think
but
that's a
but
given.
although you're saying that, I think some people across the board, some of the other people that have spoken already have said they prefer to get either in the top four or sorry, no, I've all said they prefer to get a cup, and that the Europa League is the way forward. Is what people. That's the kind of gist I'm getting from the panel.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, along with the Champions League, you know, spot, you get a trophy along with that. Do you know what I mean? But like fourth and no for me isn't progression. For me, progression is trophy this season. It's not progression as a club. It might be progression for Ash, you know, in his pen, you know, just to get fourth, you know, as a league position. But for a club, you know, the club, it's not progression for me. We've been in the Champions League for how many years now? You know, it's no different. So I want trophies. I don't want league. I don't want, you know, fourth spot. You know, for me, that's not important. For me, we need to win a trophy at this club, and I think that would galvanise us as a club going forward to win more trophies.
Yeah. I think that's what that's what they said. But so Phil, what have you got? Since you're the last person on, mate, what have you got to say for yourself? Because you've been very, very typographical. You typed loads of stuff in.
What's that?
I don't know why you were saying that you were going to come on and cook me and all sorts. So I was just wondering. I was just wondering what you had to say.
No, I was only joking, mate. I'm joking. It's good to be on it's good to be on here, man. I think it's been here before. I'm not sure.
You did the Assemble show.
I did the panel show. Yeah. No, it's good to see everyone. I had the pleasure of streaming with Johnny. Big up to you. And Nick. Up to everyone else.
So I think we were talking earlier. I don't want to rehash things, but we were talking earlier. Someone was saying on the panel. I think it was Alan was talking about Sonny. Do we need a captain? Because we had Sonny as the captain, and he's not been playing, and he feels that he feels that Sonny isn't a captain material, and he felt that all the vice captains weren't captain material. What are your thoughts on captaincy at Tottenham, Phil? And I'll ask Nick as well, because Nick wasn't. Verbally, I've not asked Nick either. So, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
I don't think we've got a captain at the club, to be honest with you. A proper captain, you know. I think Sonny is a model for a lot of young players, but in the sense of actually getting the team going on the pitch, you know, in game, you know, giving them a fucking rollicking, excuse my French, you know, while the game's going. That's something we are missing, and we've missed that for a good number of years. You know, since probably Maud Orton and like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think we've got a proper captain club, and that's a massive issue for us because you know, a lot of our players have got mentality issues. You know, getting over the line, you know, winning trophies, and we need winners in the team. We need leaders in the team, and that's what we're lacking. That's one of the pieces to the jigsaw we need to solve. But yeah, that's my take on it anyway.
Yeah. What about you then, Nick? What's your thoughts on it? Because I know you weren't on when we was talking this earlier.
About Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny. So Alan was saying he doesn't. I don't know if you've seen Alan. Alan's done a video. He did it a while back. He did it about a month ago, and he was questioning Ange on something and Sonny. And I responded on the comment section when he's done his video. I commented on it, and then I got him on here about 2 weeks ago and discussed has he changed his views. And then when he's come on today, he's repeated it again. He doesn't think Sonny's captain material, and he feels that the vice captains are not captain material either. and that Spurs need a captain. So I was just asking what your thoughts were on it.
I the other day I was on stream, I believe, and Adrian was there as well. I think what is going on right now, we don't have one single person who has all the attributes to be a legit captain. The tenacity, the being able to put your arm around the guy, and then and still being able to keep a cool head with the ref, and having the manager's ear, and all the things that you need in order to be a badass captain. So I think that's that's why they have the role split up. They have a bunch of guys who all have at least one of the attributes to be the captain, and then they're kind of distributing it amongst them. But Sonny has the manager's ear. I mean, I 100% feel that and believe that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been the first one that Ange picked. But I don't think that Sonny by himself is what. And I'll preface this with Spurs fans. What Spurs fans feel like a proper captain would be. So I partially agree with him, but I think Son has many of the attributes, and I think they're like Leo also alluded to or said earlier. Romero with his excuse me, with his no nonsense Roy Keane kind of attitude, and not afraid to have his teammates back, and he speaks the native language of about a third of the club, and he's very well respected. I mean, World Cup winner, and so it's just split up. And Sonny by himself, no, but with everybody else, if they add their proper what they can, what's good about them, if they all pool that in together, then yeah, we got a captain. But we don't have one single guy that can do all of that at this juncture, at this point. Does that make sense?
Yo, can I add something? I wouldn't mind even seeing Sonny have to fight for his place back in the first team right now. The way our team is playing, I can say we probably wouldn't benefit good or bad from having him start, the next game. I wouldn't mind seeing him have to fight for his place because I mean, Sonny, of course, if he's on the team, if he's in the team sheet for the game, he's probably going to have the armband. I mean, by default, but we need to probably get away from that. I would love to see this guy come in back into the team and fight for his spot. And not only that, that just makes the youngsters and these other, fringe players and players below Son Heung-min know that, your place isn't safe if your form is not up to par. And if I'm able to, be on better form, then there's a chance I might be starting in front of Heung-min Son. It's just good competition that your club needs to have if you want to progress. The fact that, like, I'm sitting here trying to say, Son Heung-min probably doesn't need to be our captain, it baffles me because, like, he is one of our best players, but that doesn't give you the obligation or the right to wear the armband, right? And in fact, it just opens the door for hungrier people and probably somebody who's more vocal, maybe somebody who's probably a bit more eager right now than Heung-min Son to, probably take his position. And who knows, later on down the road, be something more of the club. Because my homies, how does Tottenham Hotspur even feel about Heung-min Son being the captain? Because they haven't even given him his new contract yet. We're talking about a player who could talk to clubs come January. Come a couple
they're
of
going to
months.
extend. They're going to activate the extension clause, and I think they'll give him another year after that. Yeah,
I mean, that's what we want to think.
He doesn't have to do much fighting to get his place back over Werner.
No,
but why? See, and that's not. I think that we could probably benefit from having Son play somewhere else. I would love to see him just fight for his place because why? I feel like we have players in our club that can make him have a run for his money. It's only going to be a successful club if we have players that are going to be challenging these captains for their place.
I get what you're saying. You're basically saying that these the senior players are having their spot when they're not playing well and they're getting straight back into the team with this. You mean that what you're getting at? and I sort of agree. But I think with Sonny now for I think it's 3 weeks now, it's something like that. I think that he have a new lease of life. Do you know what I mean? He's been out for a month. I think we do need him at the moment with with his finish. So I think you have to play key players. They have to be in for us to stand any chance of winning the game. Really. Now Harry Kane's gone. He's the only good finish I've seen. Solanke is not prolific. He might well be, but looking at his stats, in previous years he hasn't been a prolific striker. He brings a lot of attributes to the team. But for me, Sonny play, he's the number one on the team sheet for me.
But he always brings the numbers, doesn't he? I mean, how many games out of them 7 league games? How many has he played this season? And he scored 2 goals and got 2 assists, right? And 5 games? He ain't played 7. I don't think he played the last 2. I'm not sure. I can stand corrected. I'm not sure how many minutes he's got. And I'll admit, his little jinky interplay around the box, his sort of short game passing, hasn't been on point. And when his touch is a little bit out, but even the games when his touch is out, he still pops up with 2 goals and 2 assists. He's the best finisher with his right and left foot. I see him being, this season, next, and possibly one after, and then kept on. I mean, he's just our best. He's our most clinical finisher. And he lost the afterburners. He may have lost the afterburners from running the Burnley game from the halfway line and things like that. He kept up with VDV for that goal against Everton, the 4th goal. He was a bit behind him. He's not slow by. Listen, people say he's slow as if he's really dropped off, and it was noticeable when you're at the ground. He's not slow. I'm telling you now, he's not slow. Now, that short acceleration burst that Bale had and he had earlier on, that may have gone, right? But he's still got that quickness, when you give to be fed inside the penalty area, when you slip the defender and you run inside on a through ball. He's got enough speed to do that, and he's their best finisher at the moment. Johnson might come on and be something special. I'm warming to him now. Solanke, we don't know. You ain't going to be able to judge these players to the end of the season anyway. So, no, I'm not one captain. We haven't got one. So we just haven't got one in what you guys want. I mean, I'm not too. I mean, as Roy Keane said, every man's his own captain. But I mean, I haven't got really an issue with captaincy. I find when you get these conversations of captaincy and plan B, they always come up when we draw a game or lose a game. And I mean, they're a conversation, but they just don't do anything for me.
You know what it is, Adrian? I think it's not so much of a captain. We need like a couple of hard-headed players that we ain't got. Start with a bit of confidence, a bit of ball bags.
I said it last year. We got a squad. We got a squad with too many passive players in. That there isn't enough aggression and bite in midfield. That's why we would. I mean, our midfield's improved this year, in my opinion, a lot, right? But last year, a front three was pants, and after the 10 games, our midfield three was pants. There was a lack of aggression in midfield, and we were bringing on Skip and Højbjerg to patch things up. It worked most of the time. When they did, we sort of salvaged things. But they've gone now, and unless Gray is going to be that player that comes in, we should have gone out and got Edison, in my opinion. But I mean, that'll be a subject coming. Come Christmas, we'll be linked with every man and his dog again. We've been linked with players now. It drives me nuts. Transfer window, right? Yeah. I mean, the midfield, we're flat track bullies. When we're playing well, like against Man United, all the passing's coming off. Like against Brighton, brilliant. We know we can beat anyone on our day. When it clicks, slick interchanging movements, running off the ball and all that, people can't live with us. We'll beat anyone, right? But when we got to dig in, it's a struggle. And I've said I blame it to players' tactical awareness, intelligent awareness. You drop back. You don't need telling. We've all played football. You don't need telling when your amateur side is struggling. You drop back, get a grip on the game, and then try and progress again.
Do what you got to do.
But these players, you know, Solanke and Werner, who can track back, should have dropped back. We know Johnson isn't that good, so you leave him as your out ball up there on the wing. Keep hitting them out the right wing, you know, and see what happens.
Adrian, what's worrying to me though? I mean, probably against Brighton, half, we're on the second half. You know, in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I'll not one player give anyone looking not one player.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's a massive worry because, you know, why ain't they reacting to that? That's what I would ask. Why reacting when we're 3-0 down, 2 down in 20 minutes? And you know, the performance in the first half to the second was not in day. It was totally different.
That was because
who's the player that's going to by the strap of the neck and say, right, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? But here's some fucking, you know.
Like Solanke and Werner stay up. They're not being proactive. They're hoping we're going to solve the problems at the back and the ball's coming out to them. Well, no, don't wait. Don't wait for solutions to be solved. If you see the players drop back, just drop back. But they didn't. That's not IQ. That's not football IQ in my book. You know, that's not tactical awareness.
One thing too, like
do any harm to drop back, does it?
Just want to plug these channels, right? So people, Nick, who's in the top left-hand corner, Roundtable Talk. Get over to Nick and support Nick. Roundtable.
I couldn't find it. I do apologise. I could not find it.
And then you've got Chris.
That's okay. That's okay. Appreciate it.
Chris has also put in Leo, top centre with the Tottenham top and all the scarves in the background. Let's go over and support the Mile High Hotspur, Leo. Adrian and Mark, who are top right and middle centre, on both on Tottenham Spurs Die Hard TID. Let's go and support them over there. And middle right, we have Johnny Bethnal Green. Go and support Johnny as well. It's
on my way to 6 million.
It's important to support all content creators. Everyone works hard. Everyone does their bit for the community. So please go and support all these lovely gentlemen that are on the panel at the moment on screen. And if there's anybody that comes in that has got their own channel, we will plug theirs as well. Sorry, someone was saying. Phil's got a shoot. So sorry, Phil's just messaged. He's got a shoot. Phil, thank you very much.
I'm at work at the moment. I was just quickly coming on, Mike. Good to see everyone.
He's playing bingo. He's playing bingo.
Yeah,
I know what you're doing, Phil. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Big up, lads.
Cheers.
See you later. On you, please.
All right, take care. Sorry, Leo, did you just say you got a shoot as well?
Yeah, I'm going to start making some breakfast as well for my family here. It's about 10:30 a.m. and they're up and about.
Okay, fair enough. Leo, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you. I know you said this maybe the day before last. You were going to do the stream a bit later, so us American folks can have a chance of getting on.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, man. And like I said, I appreciate to the community members that take their hard-earned money and decide to give memberships out to these channels. It's an awesome thing that tons of you guys do. And if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't be able to hop onto this show. So Peter and the Copper, and I know there's other people too. Davis Otello hooked up some people today too. Big up to you. It's a very amazing community that we are a part of, my homies. And I know sometimes it seems like it's doom and gloom because we had a really crap second half and a really good first half. But it is what it is, my homies. I encourage you guys to to not let it ruin your day. Always remember, after every sunny day, after every rainy day is a sunny day. And that's just the life of a Spurs fan, my homie. Whether you're over there by Adrian next to the ground or while you're thousands of miles away, we all share one love for our club. And at least right now in this moment, my homies, it's all peace, it's all love, and it's come on, you Spurs. Let's go, my homies.
Homie,
Cheers, Leo. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
God bless you. Sorry, Nick, you were going to say something before I started plugging the channels, mate. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. I was just going to say
I just
there were
described the
two
Nick, by
things.
the way. I just described Nick.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
And sorry,
everything helps. I appreciate
Mikey
you guys.
Romero saying sub to all. I'll be home soon. Hopefully, I can make an appearance for a few minutes. Yeah, Mikey. As soon as you get on game, if we're still on, then please by all means come on. It's not a problem at all.
Head
You
off
are a
after,
member.
Mikey.
You are a member, and we want to know what New York has to say. We've got a few Americans on here today from different parts of the country in North America, but we'd like to see what New York has to say as well. So get on, Mikey.
New York City.
So get on. So go on. Sorry, Nick. What you was going to say?
Well, so two things. So one, Mourinho when he was here, I don't specifically remember him saying it on the show. I'm not going to repeat the actual word that he said, but he said he need these guys. I need these guys to be a room full of C words. I need you to basically crack some skulls, go out there, quit being nice guys, and get the job done. And that in any tactical style is going to be true because it's, especially in England, is a very physical game. Another one is I get frustrated with the Romero thing because when he was cracking heads and being physical and being aggressive and being a C word, for lack of a better term, he was getting criticized by the fan base. Oh, he's too reckless. He's too this. He's too that. And yes, there is a balance. There is a balance, but you get thrown out of a Chelsea game and it hurts us. But like, we need that from him. We need that we need that to rub off on the entire back line. Excuse me. I think I think Vicario is the closest to being able to pull a little bit of shithousery, do a little bit of, cracking some skulls if he needs to. But we need a little bit more of that. We need I don't know. I'm just it's frustrating to see them just kind of like sometimes they just cower to a more physical opponent, when they I don't know. And then we've got to there has to be that balance, between Romero getting a bunch of red cards last season and I think the season before as well, and then being too passive. And these young guys need a role model because we have so many young guys. They need a role model that has a bit of a balance, and a good captain would do that. And I don't know. It's frustrating. I don't know. I'm not coach, manager, whatever. I don't know what to do about it, but I don't see anybody in the squad that fits that profile. Does that make
You hit
sense?
the nail on the head with the young guys. We've got so many young players in the team, and the players we've brought in, they're talented apart from Werner, but they weren't oven-ready players brought in. Brennan Johnson wasn't oven-ready when he's brought in. Bergvall and Gray, and I like them players. I like what I see about them. I like their technique and all that. They're different styles. I like what they bring, but they're not oven-ready. And you go to that game against Ferencváros, and we had an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and a 22-year-old had a hand in one of the goals, right? I mean, and you're expecting these players to play well all season. Look, there's established pros that don't put in their form dips throughout a season, let alone young players whose form will probably be more susceptible to having a dip in it, right? So we're not. I still think. See, we don't know. We don't know what Ange in the team, because it is a team that brings players in. It's not Ange will agree to the players that are brought in, but it is a team, a recruitment team that brings players in. No club in their right mind gives all power to one person to spend it and bring whoever they want in, right? So it is a team effort. But at the moment, if you ask me, Now, I like Dorrington. Alfie Dorrington plays left centre back, and he can also probably play left back as well. I think I've seen him play left back for the under-21s a few times. But if you're not including the youngsters, and I definitely think Mikey Moore will be an established player in the squad by the end of this season because he's just phenomenal, basically full stop, right? And Lancashire will get more than his fair chance to prove himself. But it's not the front that's worried me at the moment. I mean, we need, to me, if we weren't bringing anyone in, we need another left back, quality left back to cover your doggy when he's off form. We need a left centre back. We need a right back if Spence isn't to Angie's liking. I'm not sure Ang's fully all in with Spence. And we need someone like Edison in midfield. And if the team performs as much as I wanted a left back and Ezzy in the summer transfer window, if we hit our straps and play really well, we'll have more. We've got 7 midfielders. We'll have more important positions to fill, left back being the main one, than even getting Ezzy in, who will be cheaper in January and even cheaper in the summer. So I don't know what you guys think about holes in the squad, but that's I see him at the back. You know,
you talk about the squad, Adrian. I was just thinking as you was talking. Do you think this is where the data-driven football fails? Is it don't take into account personality and backbone?
I just think we had too much to do. I think even over the last couple of windows, look, we got rid of 16 players in the summer. Some have gone out on loan. There's just too much to do. And it isn't quite finished because Regulon and Gill haven't gone yet, right? But there's less excuse for the club now getting players off the wage bill. January windows have been good to us. I mean, apart from Dan Juma, we got Dele Allen in January, didn't we? We got Lucas Moore in January. We got Bentancur and Kulusevski in January. We got Porro in January. We got VDV in January. January's, funnily enough, which is a crap window because it's a month, you know. Other teams fighting relegation and challenging for trophies or their leagues, they're not getting rid of their players. The only player you're going to get, if you want a left back, and some teams got 3 left backs in that position, you've got a chance of bringing him in if he's any good. You know, I've got my eye on a couple because I know how badly we need a left back. Bradley Locko, who done his ligaments, I think, and Dorgu. I know Jose's watched him in the French under-21 tournament, like, and they both look. But then again, they're both young players. But on the right-hand side, I like that kid. I like the kid at the right back at Monaco, the Brazilian. I forget his name now. Shit, it's gone. I'm sure one of you remember. Sorry?
Vanderson.
I think he's a baller. He's your doggy on the right-hand side. He's a tank going forward, and he can ping a ball, and I like him. So if you're asking me to pick Vanderson or Spence, I'm going Vanderson. Sorry. You know, I'm going Vanderson every day of the week because I think he looks that good, right?
Mikey's a right back, right? Doesn't he typically play right fullback whenever he is?
So I mean, the squad is still evolving. It isn't a complete.
Sorry,
not Mikey. I meant Gray. I didn't make Gray. I said Mikey. I meant Gray.
Okay.
Yeah, it isn't.
Sorry, my fault.
I see Gray as a midfielder at the end. People keep saying I'm with Jose on this numbers things. Because when you start talking about 6s, 8s, and 10s, every fan's got a different perspective of what a 10 is, an 8 is, and a 6 is. Back in the day, it was holding midfielder, you know, attacking midfielder, central midfielder. Much easier to work with, right? Yeah. Because when you're talking to someone, you don't know if they understand what your perception of a number 6 is or a number 8 or a 10, you know? It's all these poncy descriptive narratives that are out there now, you know. So, I mean, like, I think as we stood now, if we weren't moving 4 players, I still think we need 4. And we're looking exposed in left back already, aren't we, in Europe? And we're only 7 games into the league. Yeah. Doggy, who's out of form. I mean, look, he's a talent. I love the player, but towards the end of last season, he dropped off a bit, and he didn't have a proper pre-season this season. Then he started getting fit. I thought, against Man United, but it was not hard not to knock anyone. I thought, you're getting your mojo back. And then he probably had his worst game in a Spurs shirt in that second half against Brighton, you know, if not one of the worst, you know.
I just want to say, let's good evening to Just a Harmless Potato because he put this in and you guys have been talking. I didn't say hello. So he says, good evening, all, big up Jose in the panel. And you also he's made a comment saying it's not so much about the age, it's about the character of players that lack leadership. And then you have, I'm going to pick one of the Alex Scott experience who has said that we are linked to that Bournemouth winger Antoine Semenyo, 24 years of age, and he's a baller. Lord Rodney Trotter then says, Semenyo is a very good player, but he'll cost a packet now. Sorry, Nick, you was going to say something, but Adrian was talking. What did you want to say?
Oh, I was mostly just agreeing with him, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean, so keep in mind too, we have Vuskovic and Yang already coming. We definitely need to strengthen the back line left side. 100%, Adrian. That's 100% agree with that. And it's going to bite us the further we get into these competitions. Whenever we're playing 3-4 a week, it's going to
Fingers
be
crossed with injuries and suspensions, you know.
So I'm going to ask Johnny a question, right? Johnny, you're Atletico Bilbao, yeah?
Yep, go on.
You're
I've
Atleti.
watched them this season.
No, but you're Atleti, right? So if you're Atleti, right, can you not weave a bit of your sorcery and say to Atleti, Tottenham need a couple of Atleti players. Can they be sent over to Tottenham? And if that was the case, who would you send over?
I think Williams, eh?
Nico Williams? Yeah, I'll take Nico Williams from Atleti.
And I'll take any one of our defence, to be honest with you, just to give them a bit of backbone and a bit of passion.
I was going to say, but didn't you not have Robin Lenormand? Wasn't he a Bilbao last year?
Yeah, I think so.
But he's been sold now, and
he's somewhere else, isn't he, Jose?
Yeah, he's been sold to another Spanish side. Have you still got Munyan playing up front?
I haven't got a clue, Jose. I haven't watched them this season, brother.
Oh, okay. Because Munyan used to be a top player.
I've been so banging on the Spurs and playing guitar that I haven't even watched them.
Okay. So yeah. So for me, Atleti, I'm just saying out loud, if we were allowed to have a couple of their players, Nico Williams is one I would definitely take from them. But I think so would half of the world at the moment.
There's the other black guy that plays for Bilbao, isn't there? That's really good. I can't think of his fucking name off the top of my head. He is the nuts as well.
For Atletico Bilbao?
Yeah, I'm sure, man.
I don't know. But with
it comes to me in a minute.
Adrian, you on your group, on your fantastic Spurs diehards group that you've got on Facebook, as well as your fantastic channel you've got, you put out a lot in the WhatsApp groups about late stories and all that. With this being linked with Semenyo and that, how true do you think the links are? And what kind of money are they talking about? And do you think Semenyo is a good fit at Tottenham?
I've not looked at him.
I've been
watching Vuskovic lately because I want to get more up to speed how he's been going really well. I haven't looked at Semenyo. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know nothing about the player. And that is what it's like with me when I'm watching players. And normally when we're linked, I'll go to Brazil Scout. That's my main go-to, and watch him on there. I haven't watched Semenyo. All you guys here would know more about him than I do. I mean, and if as you say, I mean, we've got Yingman Hyuk coming in. And he's smashing it in the K-League. I know it's only the K-League, but he's doing so well out there. Then you've got Odegaard coming back, whose stats, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll take Nico Williams over him, but his stats were virtually identical to Nico Williams. All the stats, not cherry and picking stats. So we don't know what we've got there with him. And then you've got...
And he did in the Premier.
Solomon was doing well at Leeds, but he picked up an injury. So they said he was just looked different class compared to players at that level, you know? Well, we don't know what his future is either, do we? So it's like we're in unknown territory with that. I mean, to talk about transfers now, I don't see Spurs. I mean, if we were going to go out and get a striker in and we didn't want to spend money, you get Jonathan David because he's at the end of his contract, but then he's not a winger. So, and that's if you think he's good enough, right? But a lot of clubs will be in for him. I mean, but I don't, January's a good window to go if you've got players that are in the last year of their contract to try and get them signed up before the season ends or whatever. So it's good for that. But I don't know. How
Anyone
good is
else?
Semenyo?
Anyone else on the panel? I know about Semenyo, but does anyone else seen him play, or does anyone know anything about Semenyo?
No,
Nothing.
So
no,
don't.
to be honest.
Okay, he plays anywhere across the three behind Evan Nilsson at Bournemouth, but equally can play the 9 role as well. He is huge. He looks like an absolute tank. I think he's 6 foot plus. And as I said, he can equally play as an inside forward. He can play wide. He can play in the centre behind the forward, or he can play 9. And last season, I watched him. It's his first season at Bournemouth last year, or it's the first time he's played in the first team. And he looks a really, really good player. And obviously, we keep talking about, or a lot of us keep talking about, yeah, but you want players with Premiership experience. Well, it doesn't matter whether you've had a season behind you or 5 seasons behind you. That's Premiership experience. And obviously, this is his second full season that I've seen him at Bournemouth, and he is a very, very good player. And he would add pace and power to what we've already got in the forward 3 spaces.
Is he better than Werner?
Do you know what you're
Golden
asking me?
question.
You're asking me an absolutely silly question. There's just absolutely no answer that I can give you on
Bring
that
up
at all.
Rodney Trotter's comment.
Which
The
one?
player, Marmouche.
Yeah, he's saying Mamouche.
Yeah, I know a little bit about him though. And this kid, and now apparently he's top scorer in the Bundesliga. And this Omar Mamouche, I think it's Eintracht Frankfurt, and he is fast. I could tell you that he is fast. He's lightning, right? So we were tenuously linked with him last season. Before we even got, I didn't know a lot about Solanke. I hadn't watched him apart from the games he played against us. I quite like the look of an older player, Serhu Garassi, who played in Germany. I thought he would do a fantastic job for us, but like we didn't go for him. But my player I really wanted in, I wanted Dusan Vlahovic off Juve. That's what I wanted in. And I think we would have got him for 65 mil as well. But we got
We should have got him 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know who's in their last year of their contract that plays left back that I would love to get? Fonzo Davies from Bayern. He's a Canadian international, and he's pacey, but there again, he's on quite a bit a week, and I don't know that he would. I mean, I don't like players that would come specifically to sit on the bench, but I think he would push Udogie, and it might even be a legit race to for that position.
Alphonso Davies is different at this time of their careers. Alphonso Davies is streets and streets ahead of Destiny Udogie. Alphonso Davies is the type of player that your Real Madrids will be after at the end of the season. That's where Alphonso Davies, for me, will end up in the Spanish league. If it's not Real Madrid, it'll be Barca. Someone like that will snap up Alphonso Davies on a free transfer.
Well, just from what I'm hearing from my Canadian friends, it seems like Bayern are slagging him off, and that he's losing that mystique that he has had. And you're right, he's tremendously talented, but I think that he's.
How old
I don't
is
know.
he?
I'm sorry.
How old is he?
23,
25.
24? Yeah,
Okay.
something like that. He's not
He
really
would fit
old.
the profile then, wouldn't he, of our club?
He would, but he would probably be good enough to put Udogie on the bench at least for a while. I mean, I don't think Udogie is completely healthy. I mean, he's lost a bit of pace. He seems to have lost a bit of touch. Just a lot of different things. He just does not look like a player that's fully healthy. I mean, you play what 95% of the game is with your legs, right? So like, and if any of that is, especially a joint like an ankle or whatever, I think it was an ankle, wasn't it, that he messed up? If that's not the 100%, you're putting all that weight, and he's not a small dude. What is he, 6'1", 6'2"? He's moving. but he's just not as fast, and he's lost something, and he just looks like a player that isn't fully healthy. Like he doesn't have his wheels underneath him.
Mm.
Yeah, he's a very good player. But we've got here, Destiny 5 is saying Robinson at Fulham is good left back
Yeah.
competition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've got LeoCoys is saying Liverpool after Mamouche replacement for Salah. Davis, just Thomas says Davis is a dream player. Won't come to Spurs though. He's looking for a move to Real Madrid, but they have extended the contract of Mendy lately. Lord Rodney Trotter says Mamouche is a stat leader in the top 5 leagues in every major stat: possession, defensive actions, goal and shot creation, pass types, passing, shooting, everything. He's third behind Haaland and Lewandowski.
Yeah,
Destiny,
and Meadows, because he's Egyptian, was pumping him up as the next Salah, and that's probably why Liverpool are interested. Salah's probably had a word with.
and Destiny 5 saying Levy would never pay the wages for a Davis, a Vlahovic, or any players coming from a top side. They would have to take a pay cut. Just a harmless potato saying very similar to a doggy, quick, good on the ball, very offensive left back.
Yeah.
Question marks about defensive abilities. The
Mm.
Alex Scott experience says a doggy is only a baby for Pete's sake. He'll come good. I never said he wouldn't. I'm just saying at this present moment in time where they are as players, Davis is streaks ahead at the moment. Lord Rodney Trott says Paul Creation is the same as Mbuemo. He is in crazy form. 1.44 goals per 90, higher than everyone. I've caught up with the chat. Sorry, gentlemen. Carry on.
So as far as Davies, yes, the wages would be the only reason he wouldn't be able to come here. And I this is just going, like I said, I have a bunch of friends who are Canadian, and they keep up with the national team and the national team news and whatnot. They seem to suggest that he's getting slagged off by a lot of these bigger clubs for other players, and I don't know why, but also that he would prefer they think from the way he talks that he would prefer a move to the Premier League.
Mm.
But there again, his wages, I think he's got to be on like 250 or 3 a week. I mean, he's on something stupid right now. But in order for us to take that next step, we've got to start paying the wages that everybody that the other big six are. We've got to start paying those. And I mean,
He
I don't know.
Alphonso Davies sits for me the same as the other boy that they sold. They got free from Bayern Munich as well, David Alaba. So they got David Alaba from Bayern as well, I think, on a free. And I think the next cab off the rank for Real Madrid is Alphonso Davies. I think he's primed to go to Real, and that's probably why he's not signing or talking or having discussions. And he's a free, and I just think someone like that will end up taking him, to be honest. As Alphonso Davies gets injured a lot, that's why Bayern want to sell him.
Okay, maybe that's it.
Jared Bowen is underrated. Underrated for me. I would love him at Spurs, is what Phil Coyes is saying.
Yeah, I quite like him at Spurs as well.
You like Jared Bowen as well, do you, Johnny?
Yeah. Every time I watch the geezer, I think he's got a bit of backbone. He's got a bit of fight in him.
I watched him at Hull. He sort of plays left or centre because he is left-footed, like.
Yeah.
But we're not short on the left-hand side of the pitch. If we're going to bring I know these wingers can switch over to the other side, but if we want someone if we're going to go, we'd need a more established player on the right, which would free Decky up. Because even Decky was drifting out to the right and letting Brennan Johnson play as an inside right, which probably suits him more in the game against Man U and that. I mean, that's what I was seeing. But yeah, what's your verdict on Dorgu or Bradley Locko, Jose? You watch much of them?
Yeah, they're very good players. They're very young. They're very young players again.
Locko's a bit older. I think it's about 23. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but they're still young, Adrian. They're still
yeah,
puppies.
Dorgu's about 19, 20 though.
Yeah, but even 23, 22, 23 still young. They're young pups, all of them. They've all got tremendous potential. And there's a lot of potential out there. But what you're going to see more often than not is, sorry, before I carry on, Nick, I've just seen your
Yes, sir.
message, mate.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta go. We have it's almost noon here. I gotta feed the boys. We have a game at 1 and a game at 4, Central Standard Time. But I appreciate the opportunity to be on here and talk with you gentlemen.
No,
I
thank you.
I love talking to you guys. It's great. I love listening to you. Keep up the good work, guys. This to me is therapy. I love it.
And you know what? That's what I get from a lot of people that watch the channel. They say for them, that's exactly what I say. And the people that reach out to me tell me exactly the words you just used there. They said that to me as well. A lot of people
Yeah, and
that
y'all
reach out.
y'all are like genuinely nice dudes too. I that's a very southern way of saying that you're good people. So I appreciate it.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's glad to have you on, Nick. It's been a while. But I'm glad to have you on rather than having you type away in the chat. It's nice
Yeah.
to have you on. So, but no,
Thank
you
you.
take care of yourself. Good luck to your boys
Will do. Thank
today,
you.
and have
Appreciate
yourself an amazing weekend.
All right, see you guys. Come on, Spurs.
Big
Thank
up,
you,
sir.
Like potato.
Cheers, mate. So yeah, to me, they're all young. They've all got potential. But the thing I will say, and I continue to say till the cows come home, is the way people go out and buy players now has changed. And if people can't see that now, then they'll never see it, right? Because if you look at the summer transfer window, I mean, I don't know the exact stats, but you know, for me, off the top of the dome, just looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, 80% of the transfers were for players for under the age of 25. And 20% were probably over 25. So everyone's going down this route of looking for young. So when you're saying what the players like, yeah, they're very young, they're all pups, but they've all got potential. And that's what clubs are doing now. They're buying potential.
In
Not
theory, that's cheaper, though, isn't it? If you're buying a kid, you know, if you're
but
experienced.
they're not going for cheap money anymore, though, Mark.
No,
Are
I
they?
know
They're
they're not.
costing a pretty they're costing a pretty penny now, aren't they?
But
Even
they,
youngsters.
but right, they do cost quite a bit of money. But it's not going to be if you've got the ready-made replacement to walk straight in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're like
Yeah.
crazy money.
Yeah, and I agree, but I just don't think clubs are doing that anymore.
No, because
Looking
they
at the way
can't because of the FFP and all that nonsense.
it's everywhere though. You look around the whole of Europe, the transfer market has changed completely. And you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of players out there with a lot of potential out there, and some of them have more potential than others, or have shown more than others. So let's say, for argument's sake, we'll go over to Atleti to Mr. Nico Williams. He's very young. He's what, 20, 21? No, he might be 20, he might be 19, 20. Anyway, he's really young, but he has already shown on the world stage that he's a top baller. So for someone like him, you're looking at £80 million straight away, straight off the bat, £80 million for Nico Williams.
I think
However,
he's younger than that, Jose.
was he 19 then?
Yeah, I think he's young, very young.
Yeah, but so what I'm saying is, off the dome, you're looking at 80 million straight away for him to buy someone like Nico Williams, because you're buying someone that's young, but he's done it on the world stage. When you're looking at other players, let's say like you're looking at Ryan Cherky, who we looked at, or supposedly scouts looked at him from. He's now gone to Lyon, I think. Ryan Cherky. He's an under 21 international for France. People say that he's a 10 and his playmaker and that, but they say his attitude's all wrong and that. But if you looked at someone like him, you were picking him up this season in the summer, you were probably getting him for £15 million. Now that he's gone to Lyon and he's started to play he's started to play really well at Lyon, his stock's going to rise. Not that he's done it on the world stage, but his stock will rise. So, you know, at the end of the day, they've all got potential, right? They've all got potential, these boys, but some are going to be better than others. You got Elise. Elise is what, 21 years old? Went from Palace to Bayern for what, 55, 60 million this year. So he's a youngster, but he's shown it in the Premiership that he can hack it. Bayern took the chance on him. So there are a lot of players out there with plenty of potential. Some are going to cost you more than others. So they're not necessarily going to be the cheaper option. It just depends, what have you done? And if you've done stuff and bits already, then you're going to go for bigger money.
And then you have the opposite to that, don't you? And the other season we were linked with Gift Orban, right? The striker who was banging them in, wasn't he, in Belgium? I think he got moved to a French club. I haven't heard nothing of him since. If he'd been sensational, we would have heard something. So they don't all like prove to be value for money, but that's the risk you take in a transfer market with any player, though, isn't it? You know, unless you know they're got 2 years under their belt in the Premiership, they're not a one-hit wonder. That's why it used to be judged back in the day. You know, you were judged after your second season, and yeah, so there's quite a few names that have dipped below the radar, which everyone was looking at, and they wanted about 30 million for him, didn't they? That kid or something, you know. So, but having said that, we paid 40 million for Gray. But look, we'd looked at Gray a long time. Everyone had looked at Gray. I mean, we know he's going to be a star. But like we're playing the wait and see game. These players aren't oven ready. They're exciting prospects, and I'm confident that Gray and Bergvall will be hits at Spurs. But then you're waiting again. This is where you get the people, you know, arguing rightly so about it. We're not buying oven ready players for the now. Johnson wasn't oven ready, you know. We've done well with some of the youngsters. We've done well with Van der Ven because we were after tap sober. We've done well with you, Doggy. You know, Porro we knew about. He played against us, didn't he, in Europe in them 2 games. And we knew about Porro because he was at Man City. So we knew he weren't, you know, if you come from there, you're not that good. Odegaard's come from the Paris Saint-Germain Academy. So, like, and Vincent Kompany was raving about him. Well, we need to see more. We need to see more. I need to see how he goes this season and next.
Yeah. So, right. I don't know where Mikey Romero is. I'm trying to hang on to see if he's going to make it because I was only planning to go for 2 hours and we've gone for 2 hours and 2:32 at the moment. Anything else you guys want to raise? I've got someone in the private chat.
What holes do you want to fill in the squad? Where do you think we are exposed for this season? Where do you think we are exposed?
What, me personally?
Yeah.
I would say, look, for me, it's been a mammoth job, right, in getting rid of what we've had to do over the last couple of transfers, or 2 to 3 transfer windows. What we've had to do. It's a mammoth job getting rid of as many players as we've done. It's not just the 16 that went this summer out on loan that we got rid of. We got rid of players last winter as well. When the Dyer, Lloris and people like that left, we got rid of players then. And the summer before, we got rid of players as well. It's a Herculean job that we had to do. We had to get rid of a lot of stuff, right? Because Tottenham hadn't swept the boards and cleaned up shop for years and years, right? So it's been a massive job to do that. Now, that job hasn't finished. I mean, I heard you turn around and say, Adrian, earlier, Gil and Reguilon have still got to go. But it's not just about them two. I think what's going to happen this season is you're going to look at the players that we've sent out on loan, and there'll be a view taken at the end of next summer when they come back. Whether loans have worked out, do they fit in Tottenham now, these players that are coming back? And it doesn't matter what age they are, even the youngsters will be looked at. Or do we move them along? Because we've got to start becoming ruthless. And there are some players that we may have bought in the very recent times, i.e. last season or this season. And if they've not worked out, then they've got to go as well, because we need to refresh. And you've got to do what other clubs do. You have to keep refreshing your squad. So once we've got to the squad that we've got at the moment, then we need to refresh. We need to get rid of a couple more, or, you know, that might be in and around at the moment, get rid and bring a new blood in. So for me, it's just going to be an evolution, and that's the way it's going to have to happen. But our evolution starts now because we've got rid of all the deadwood over 3 transfer windows. We're very light for me on the left side of defence. So whether it be a left back or a left centre half, at the moment, you're asking me now. It doesn't matter about Vuskovic coming into me. I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at Phillips coming back from loan. You're asking me this present moment in time. For me, we're very light on the left-hand side, left back and left centre back. I think if Austin's not going to be given a chance, right, then we're light on goalkeeper as well. We need a second goalkeeper.
Yeah.
We've got good goalkeepers coming through, though. I mean,
You're asking me at the moment. I can't
Yeah,
wait to someone for 3 years to become good. You're asking me a
true.
question now. So I
Let's
think we're
face it,
like,
Jose. Let's face it, Jose. Sir Alex Ferguson was a master of that, wasn't he? Every
yeah.
year, refresh, just new
But
blood coming in.
Man City do it. Man City
Yeah,
would let some big players go and leave the club. A lot of teams do this. Now,
yeah,
what I will say about Tottenham, if I'm going on a tangent at the moment, but what I will say about Tottenham at the moment is that with regards players now, next season in the summer, we will get money for players. This year and last year, we had to take whatever was given to us because we let the squad go stale. All the values of players came right down, and it's through players dropping off form and through us bunging them out to other clubs or not playing them. Their stock devalued big time. However, with the players that we've now bought to the club, their stocks are either where we bought them at or have grown higher. So when we
but they will
refresh,
grow higher, won't they? Because they're all young.
yeah, but they'll all stay where they are, or they'll grow higher.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
someone like Romero, we bought Romero in for like 40 million quid, right? So, and he's not young, Romero. But if you're looking at Romero, Romero's worth more than 40 million now. Do you see what I
yeah,
mean? So I'm not looking at just youngsters. I'm just looking at players. If we're gonna do the ruthlessness and refresh a few players, we'll fall into the brackets like your Man Cities, like your Liverpools, like your
Yeah.
Arsenals or whatever, where players have held their value now when you sell them. Because quite often people will look at teams like Chelsea and say, how did they manage to get 40 million for him? Or how did they get 30 million for him? Well, our players from now on will hold value. So we're not going to have the issue that we've had for the last couple of transfer windows. If we sell players in the summer, they will go for money. We'll make money on them. Now, saying that as well, I think we're still at a midfielder light. I would have liked to have seen another midfielder in there. And as for the forward line, I would like to have seen another two be brought in there. I've said all along that our squad is light. Now, it's probably light by design because that's the way it's worked out. Because with Ange, and I'll be honest, brutally honest with Ange, I think Ange wants a player that's going to fit his system. But above all, he wants a player that wants to come to the club, wear the jersey, and not be worried about image rights, not be worried about what he's going to get paid. You know, pay is a worry, you know, because everyone wants to get paid, but you know, not people to say, well, if you give me X and you give me more because they're giving me this, you know, start playing people off against each other. He wants people that want to be at the club for the right reasons, and for that reason, we've got a smaller squad this season, I think, because in the summer, I think they didn't get the players in because of certain reasons. I'm hoping that changes in the winter and the summer to come. But as I said, I think we need two strikers in the sense of anyone or anywhere across the night under the front three, whether it's two inverted, whether they're inverted, as long as they can play along the front three. I think we're too short there of quality players there. One short in midfield, two short on the left sides of defence, and I think we're a goalkeeper short. That's where I think we are at the moment.
Half the squad.
Yeah, well,
Well, it's
the
not because
interesting
we've got
thing,
players already, haven't we? So
I mean, I'm
They're not,
agreeing with what
they're
you're
just not clinical, are they, though, Jose? They're not as, like, as you said, like, we ain't got a proper striker, have we? Someone who just takes the chances and knocks them in.
I've got, yeah, you're right, Johnny, but I think, right, my personal opinion, because I'm not the Tottenham scout or anything, my personal opinion, though, I think that Solanke does it. Solanke, for me, will score goals. He will. He just needs feeding. Feed the beast, and he'll score goals. But you need to feed him. You can't live off scraps. You're going to need to feed him.
What I'm interested in the refresh that you was talking about, Jose, each season, is that the 9 subs we had on the bench against Brighton weren't bad, right? I think this squad's evolved for the better. Then you've got to take in consideration that Son, Odegaard and Richarlison weren't fit. If they were fit, this is where it gets interesting. Who are Ange's 9 on the bench? Because that always gives you an insight into the manager's mind and the player he trusts more, unless he's just picking a particular 20 for one game, right? And then I'm usually thinking, who's the 5 he's left out of the squad? This is everyone's fit and there's no injuries and suspensions. Then you get a real insight into his mind. So we've got 3 players to come back, and they're all going to play a role, even if Richarlison ends up playing out on the left instead of Werner, which I'd rather have personally. But
I'd sooner you play out on the left than rather than Werner, Adrian.
So and that was like you saying, Jose, without bringing youngsters in or having a refresh in the January transfer window. So we are moving in the right direction, and we have failed better. I will say we failed better in the transfer market. We have failed better in the transfer market, but yeah, I'm interested to see that when everyone's fit, who actually are the 9 subs and the 11 on the pitch, because that will give me a clue into Angie's thinking. I mean, I'm still not sure he fancies Spence, who looks a good player, but I'm not sure about him defensively. I'm really got doubts about him there, But
so, where do you think we're lighter than Johnny? And then we'll ask Mark the same question.
I was exactly the same as you, Jose. Really, exactly the same as you. Proper light up front, proper light in midfield, and that back left just does my nutting. I shit myself when they play the ball down there. It's like it's just a weak side, isn't it, for us? That back left. No matter if you've got VDV defending all his art at, the ball
he's
comes
not a
over.
left back, though, is he?
No,
He played Jeff Holland, but he's not a left back.
He played there yesterday as well.
Yeah,
and Van Dijk apparently got sent off. I've not seen the game.
No, it's that up and down when you're a fullback. It's a very demanding position, and VDV is a short burst merchant, which is what you want with the high line. I don't want him at left back, but I mean, I don't pick the team. What do I know? You know what I mean? But I mean, like, I was Brighton. You think, well, Davis wasn't even in the squad, but at least he would give you solidity at the back.
Yeah, he's solid, isn't he?
He would have given you solidity at the back, but he weren't even in the 9 subs. And it might be because he's leaving at the end of the year. So I get that. I wouldn't knock Ange for that. But I mean, like, if you know your doggy's not in the best form, who'd you bring on for him? There weren't no one else in there to bring on for him. Even if Spence is on the bench, he's not a left back. He's not a left back, Spence.
What about you? Same question to you, Mark. What do you think about the squad, mate? Where do you think we're light?
Now, with my ruthless head on, I'd say we're light and an ambitious chairman. To be honest. But we definitely need a left back. Either an upgrade or someone competent to fill Udogie's place. A midfielder probably, and anybody but Werner. To be honest,
I take you don't like Werner then.
No. I said just a minute ago, I'd sooner Adrian play out on the left.
You wouldn't.
So I've just said you don't like Werner then.
No, definitely not. No, he's stealing a living at our club, if you want my opinion, and I've been saying it for a while now. He can't finish. He can beat a man, yeah, but when he goes to cross it, well, he does one bit, because in the Brighton game, he actually went past someone, and he was worrying their right back for a lot of it, but he goes past the man, and then the cross is hopeless. He can never string things together. There's one moment he'll put a good ball in, and then he can't even do that. So, I don't know why we signed him twice in the first place, to be honest.
We've got him to the end of the season. I
think well, the writing was on the wall, wasn't it?
Come January, I think Ange will have made his mind up on a few other players, and might be surprised if an established player leaves.
Well, to be honest, Werner was fantastic when he was in Germany, but that's where it stopped. It stopped as soon as Chelsea bought him. I mean, and I said Chelsea, Adrian, and you can't play the thing either.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the other thing with me, I mean, I love Bentancur. If he's fit, he would be my first pick out of the midfielders we've got. Although Decky's playing out of his skin, right? I'm going on since he's been at the club. But Basuma, I don't trust him yet. I don't trust Basuma to give us the good performances all the time. I know he's got all the talent in the world, but he's got to do it. He's got to start being more consistent. Or I could see him. I mean, I know We know Ange likes him because he is better in that sort of six. I think he's better in that 6 role than Bentancur. I don't care if he played at Juventus, different pace of the game in Italy. But I see why he's there. But, you know, worst come to worst, get rid of Basuma. I mean, if he plays well, you don't. You keep him and you give Gray his chance.
Yeah.
Mm.
That
I mean,
Basuma
I'm
was
just,
not reliable.
I'm just formulating ideas, you know. But do you guys trust Basuma yet? Do you trust him? Are you all in with him or what?
No, I shit myself when he's playing, man.
Yeah,
I think to myself, he's just not reliable, is he? He can have a good game, he can have a bad game, he can change halfway through the game.
he was decent against Ferencváros. He kept hold of the ball and things like that. You know, I mean, you thought, yeah, taking the pressure off at times when they came at us and all that. But like, no, he's got it. He's got all the skill set and that.
I'm not being funny though, Adrian. That was Ferencváros, whatever they were called.
True.
You know,
He also played well after he was suspended for the first game and he came on.
Yeah, he played blinding, didn't he, that day?
yeah. But
Against Newcastle, he was good.
with Basuma, he's certainly not the player that, at the moment, he's certainly not the player that we signed from Brighton. Because let's face it, he was cooking at Brighton money. That's why we bought him.
And he got dropped from his national side as well, and that tells you something's gone on behind the scenes. Like, so, yeah, he's got to do it. I mean, he's another one I could see where you're under threat, which he did seem to start the season with a bit more urgency. Seem to know he's got competition because, like you say, we got 7 midfielders with Decky.
Oh, well, he's in for the Ballon d'Or this season, isn't he?
I don't know where Mikey Romero is, but I'm gonna have to snap it soon. So just catching up with the chat you got. Just Armas Potato says, not even then, Adrian. Even with proven Premier League players, there is no guarantee.
True.
My prime examples are Lukaku from Everton to United and suddenly turned bad, or Andy Carroll to Liverpool. Destiny reckons that we need a left back cover and a centre back cover and a right winger. So 3 of the positions. Bachny says all good will be 4th position in mid-November. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. I'll take 4th by the end. Well, I'll take 4th. I've won a trophy still, but I'll take 4th.
I'm not interested in 4th. 4th means nothing to me.
I'll take 4th by the end of the season, but I want a trophy. Roundtable Talk says, as far as Davis, I just texted my friend. It was his injury proneness that might be why he was what he's referring to. Destiny 5 says we use this to refresh under Harry, and before that, since Potts, we put our players in cages. Simon Cohen, good evening to you, mate. Says need a Son replacement.
Yeah.
Destiny 5 says Solanke needs to work on his one-on-one with keepers. He's missed 2 in 2 games.
Yeah.
Simon Cohen's then saying, does Richie need to go? But Destiny says, Adrian, get your boots ready. And Nick says, okay, I just told my Dominic, my oldest, that Tottenham needs him in the left. He is lacing them up as we speak. So I'm just going to go. Simon Cohen says, does Richie need to go? And this is the last one we're going to answer, and then I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah.
Right, so who wants to go first? Does Richie need to go? If it's a yes, no, and why? For either way you go.
If you want me to start, we'll put it this way. Your best ability is your availability. When was the last time when he was available? I mean, he's always injured. So
you're not now on the head there, Mark.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's your best ability, is to be availability. You know what I mean? So personally, if the rumours was true about Saudi and they were willing to pay silly money for him, I'd have got rid of him in the summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what was it? There was rumours of like 50 or very nearly what we'd give for him from the Saudi. I'd have bought his ticket and said, off you go. See you later.
I thought I saw one of the chats, Mark, you said I'll drive him. I saw you a few weeks ago.
I'm not allowed to drive yet. Soon.
I'll put him in a taxi, or I'll pay for the taxi. Something I saw you put. So,
yeah.
Johnny.
Do you know what? I love him when he plays and he's in the air. But other than that, see you later, mate.
Yeah.
I'd just get rid of him straight away. He's just unreliable. He loves the dressing room too much, and not the dressing room. He loves the medical room too much. You know, I can't see the point in him being in the Spurs dressing room, squad, anything.
And you, Adrian?
I think he's one of those players that's got the sword of Damocles hanging over his head. I think Basuma's another one. I don't know if Ange's got concerns about other players in the squad. We are where we are with him at the moment. So unless he were to go, well, we definitely got him to January, right? And I could see, I mean, he could
Is he
go.
going to play before January, though?
Yeah, he'll play. He'll play. He'll get game time. Even Solanke will need a rest the amount of running he does. You can't run Solanke into the ground. Not the amount of work he puts into games. And it's he's the only other player. Unless we put Lancashire on, and I've got no problems with that. I'll tell you that now. Wow. I've watched him all last season. I love the player. But I mean, yeah, and he's only going to get experience, and he will score Lancashire.
It's interesting because Lancashire, sorry, Adrian, it's interesting because Lancashire was promoted to the 20s. So the elite 20s, under 20s, he's been promoted, and he played 2 nights ago against Italy, and England won 2-1 in Italy. So if anyone wants to watch it, it's called European Youth Football. It's a channel on YouTube where it shows you all the European youth games. So it shows you club games and shows you internationals. And I watched the highlights of England versus Italy, and I won't say no more. Just give it a watch if you want, and you'll see Lancashire. And the interesting thing is we've not heard much of Scarlett since he's gone to Oxford, but Scarlett has been promoted from the elite 20s, and Scarlett made, I don't know his debut, but Scarlett played for the under 21s yesterday. He came on with 6 or 7 minutes to go for England under 21s. So yeah, it looks like some of our boys are getting minutes, and I think England's 18s, which is now Mikey Moore. I looked on Flash Score because I couldn't find any information on their game. They lost 2-1. They were 2-0 down at half time. They lost 2-1. England made 9 substitutions in the second half, and the only 2 players that weren't substituted were Mikey Moore and Ethan Namweri from Arsenal. So they're the 2 boys that they didn't. So yeah, so looking at the youngsters, I've been following the youngsters. Yeah,
Elogi Velez has been getting game time at Espanyol, but he's only got 1 goal. George Abbott's been smashing it at Notts County. Donnelly looks too good for Leyton Orient. Keeley, I'm not sure if he's getting the game time there. Craig Matthews at Barnsley, and he was doing well last year at Doncaster and all that. He's doing well. We're going to be selling some of these players. Don't think they're all coming through because there won't be room for them. But the good thing is we should get in a situation when they've done their 3 years that we'll have the 4 academy trained players that won't affect us. But then it's good to have 4 academy trained players as long as your manager likes the 4 that are academy trained in the group that you've got to have for Europe. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Velez, yeah.
So I'm going to say good evening. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, right.
Who was that?
Good night then.
Was that Mikey Romero?
It said James Watts.
Oh,
okay, fine.
Don't know.
Anyway, he's just gone. Adrian, get your boots ready. So for me, for Richie, for my comment for Richie Simon is that someone said availability is number 1 asset. I think it's Mark that said that.
Yeah.
And for me, we do need competition. We can't rely on one striker. We've done that for far too long. You need to have competition. So I would like to see rotation and competition with Solanke. So it keeps Solanke on his toes, but it keeps him fit. And you've got players that you can rotate, bring in, not levels drop off, and people carry on. And at the moment, with him not being fit and ready, the person who's jumps ahead of him or will jump ahead of him will be Lancashire. Because
it says a lot about Lancashire, doesn't it? That Velez was let out, go on loan, and we paid 20-odd mil for him or whatever it is, and we kept Lancashire. Mind you, he got 23 goals in 22 games for the under-21s. He got about 30 goals with cup games, I think. And they're all rating down there, and they're saying, like, even the commentators and all that are saying, like, he is the closest thing to Harry Kane, right, that they've seen.
Yeah,
he misses a few, but he is a good finisher. He's got a real good eye on him. He's got a good eye, so.
Dim the Greek is on one of the channels. I don't know where he's on yours or he's on Leo's, but he's saying opinion on England losing to Greece. I'll just give you a quick answer from me, Dim the Greek. I really don't care.
No,
I'm not.
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, the only team you need to support, Dim the Greek, is teams that win, and that is España. Talk about Spain, and then I can talk to you
No,
all
we
day
don't want
long.
to talk about Spain. You know, they eat dodgy food out there and things like that. No, we got shish kebab. We got shish kebab the other
No,
night.
we ain't eating gyros, Adrian. We ain't eating gyros, mate.
Yeah, we got shish kebab. You know,
England let me down in the summer. I couldn't care less about them.
Mark, are you Carsley out? Yeah.
Well,
Guys,
who
had a
knows?
couple of games.
Who knows? England don't interest me.
No, I think we're selfish when we're Premier League supporting teams, aren't we? We're selfish, and and when the international break comes around, we all throw our arms up and you know,
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean? We've got
Right.
to start with this crap.
Well, we've gone nearly 3 hours, so I'm gonna have to call it a night. But listen, everybody that's been on today, so I'm gonna say thank you to LeoCoys. I need to say thank you to Nick, Alan Rakdos Madness, who was on earlier as well. And I'm missing one person. Who am I missing?
LeoCoys?
No, he said him.
It was 8 of us on earlier, and Phil wasn't.
And
There
Nick.
was 7.
Leo?
Nick, Leo. That's it. Leo. And then obviously the sheriff, Adrian, El Vasco.
Having a song.
El Vasco
Big up
the top
Paul in the
right.
chat. Big up to all my fellow guests as well.
Hopefully you've all and everyone in the chat, you've partaken in the chat and that. You've helped us move the show along. It's nice to have members on. As we said, we are a community, and it's nice to get the members on and get them on screen and that. And so I thank you all for coming on. Thank everyone in the chat. I also need to thank, and then I'll let you plug your channels. I need to thank David Shear for gifting a membership, then Peter who gifted 5, then David who gifted another 5, and Benito Sotelo gifted another 5. And also,
It's competition, I think. It's competition.
And also to Kate for her 2-month member chat. Right, going round, I'm going to start with you, Vasco. Where are you going to be? Where are you going to be on next and stuff like that, mate?
I'll do a short when I feel like it, Adrian, Jose, and that's about it, really. Get me on my way to 6 million views.
Normally on the toilet, from what I've seen.
Johnny on the shitter.
Yeah.
It's the quietest
I always
place.
give him a thumbs up. I always give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'll even like sit in on shows, even if I'm busy doing other things, just to give them the watch time and the thumbs up, because I'm subscribed to about 40 channels.
Yeah. And the boys from Tottenham TTID, when are you next around? Any shows you need to plug and stuff?
Well, tomorrow, co-founder EMF is doing an interview with Julie Welch, who is the first Fleet Streets reporter. She's done screenplay. She's author of Those Glory Days and the biography of Tottenham Hotspur. She'll be talking about her experiences as a young girl supporting Spurs. I mean, she was born in 1948, so she's a few years older than me, you know.
Is that film, Adrian? I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that film, Those Glory Days? Is that based about? It's sort of based on her, isn't it?
It's based on her. I don't think.
Yeah, I think so.
It wouldn't be, would it? I mean, she might have wrote the screenplay for it.
Yeah.
You know? So she's going to talk about her sort of struggles, the adversity in an all-male environment. You know what it's like. Other reporters, a woman. You know what I mean? At a game, men at a game, a woman. You know what the attitudes were like there. It was just a culture at the time, wasn't it? So I think it'll probably be about an hour. Can't wear her out. She's not a young person anymore. So I don't know. I mean, Ian will do a good job. He's a good host. He'll do a good job on that. So that's tomorrow at 8. For those of you, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter if you use Twitter under my handle here at Adrian_Sroka. If you're interested, if you use Twitter and interested in it. I know Hosey barely goes there. He calls it shitter, so he don't like it. So yeah. So yeah, and I'll be doing a show Tuesday, and no doubt Mark will be on. We'll be previewing the West Ham game. So for that we've got coming up on the Saturday at 12:30 is West Ham, is it Saturday week? So it's an early kick-off, because the Pikeys have got to move their caravans. You know what I mean? So
you can't say things like
that. Last but not least, I'm going to say tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, you got the ladies' takeover. Ash and Ellie on here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock doing the ladies' takeover. and I will do the predictions results show on Monday. And can I say that the predictions have pulled up a right stinker for a lot of people?
Will you do the
I bet I
online
did
ones as well?
terrible. I bet
Will
I
you
did
do the online? Do you go through the online ones as
I
well?
do, but I done that last week.
Because I'm doing well in that one.
I won't be doing. I always, when I do the predictions shows, I always start off with the online ones and then go to the predictions third. But tomorrow I won't be doing the other two because there's been no Premiership games, so there's no need for me. So by logging in, people can see where they are and whatever. But so that's on Monday at 4:00. Other than that, because of work and that, I've not planned anything else for the rest of the week next week. You just have to hit the notification bell to see when I'm on. But I'll definitely be on next Friday for predictions because the Premiership's back. What I will say to people is I'm going to ask, or people get in touch with me. I had a comment from someone about yesterday's show, the predictions, and people said that they found it really, really good, the prediction show yesterday, because we picked teams that we know nothing about, and people didn't know what was going to come out the hat. So I'm just wondering if I should do normal predictions like for the Premiership, and then add two random ones to the Premiership, just so people can have a go at them as well. But they'll have to be random ones.
Azerbaijan or something like that.
Yeah. I just whatever I can find, two random fixtures, and add them to the Premiership ones that we do, just for out of interest, because then that mixes it all up for people. But I'll wait to hear what people have got to say. If people are up for it, I will do it. I'm in the middle of doing this bloody updating the league. I'm not that far from finishing it, but I will then get this set up and we'll see it on Monday. So, guys, thank you very much to everyone. Thank you very much to the people that have been watching on Spurs Diehards. Thank you to the people that have been watching on Mile High Hotspur, because they both shared it to their channels as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Final words, and then I'm going to shoot.
Gracias, Jose.
Come on, you Spurs.
Get off my land.
Come on, you mighty Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.